Hey gamers and gamettes and they-mers. Welcome back to Feature Flashback.
I can't breathe.
The most ridiculous opening. Welcome back to Feature Flashback. It's the show, you know it, you love it, where we...
It's the only
one left, where we look back 10 years to the week of the episode at the movies that came out. We watch them. We talk about how they've held up, or if it's our first time seeing them, if they're any good at all. And spoiler, sometimes they really aren't. We have a very special guest this week. Or I should say, I'm Jacob Sanger.
And I'm Colin Spalton.
And joining us for the first time, our second ever special guest, my dear friend, Sydney Underwood.
Hello, I'm very excited to be here. I came with a lot of Afro Circus energy today. 3,000% more Afro Circus energy than usual. So.
That's what we need. That's what we need on this podcast is more Circus Afro.
Yeah. There was a moment where I realized that this was the Afro Circus movie, and it had like shell shock.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
it's the Afro Circus movie.
Mm-hmm.
The only one.
Oh.
That's listed as an alternate title on IMDb. It's Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, also known as Circus Afro, the movie.
Or Colin, Afro Circus. a tragedy in 3 parts.
They've really been calling Madagascar the Afro Circus trilogy, although it's weird. You really have to build up to it.
It's true. You can't just like, whenever that first Madagascar came out in like 2006, they couldn't just like come onto the scene with Afro Circus. It's like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. People weren't ready.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
People weren't ready.
Yeah.
Not until 2012.
I like imagining that this whole series has just been like, oh, we gotta get these animals to the circus. Not yet. Hold it back.
I mean, what y'all say in jest, I say truly. I think if you came out the gates with Madagascar 3, there would have never been a 2. Like, this movie stands on the shoulders of giants.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Well, I guess you've probably gathered at this point, dear reader, that one of our movies today is Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, which is about to be me. I'm about to go to Europe. And I'm something of a...
This will literally be you.
I'm something of an animal. Arr. Ah.
That part.
Why'd you arg like a pirate?
Yar. I'm a lion.
That part in Madagascar 3 where I don't remember who says it. It's either Alex or the other French lion. But he's like, you know how when humans get angry, they say, I'm an animal. Well, we're actually animals. Or
Yeah.
something.
No, that was like based actually.
No.
Which I was having breakfast. This is neither here nor there. I was having breakfast with my friend yesterday, and we were discussing how based might actually not be a good thing for me to say.
You say it all the time.
I know.
You say it about literally everything you do.
I know, but it might have ties.
You're like, I got a burrito for lunch. It was so base. I'm like, do you know what this word
It might have
means?
ties to
I mean,
the
if
right wing.
everything is based, that... Oh, really?
Maybe.
I haven't heard that.
I feel
That's
like
what I heard. But I agree with what you were about to say. If everything is based...
Which is what?
If everything is based, then nothing is. Syndrome.
Syndrome.
All right.
You have what? All right.
Madagascar 3
Uh,
and Ridley Scott's sci-fi epic Prometheus, the prequel to the Alien franchise. One of the prequels.
Ridley Scott's return to the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Ish. Undeclared. That they then made the Alien franchise.
So, should we talk Prometheus, friends?
Well, before we
yeah.
jump into that, I think we should look at the box office for this week.
I forgot how this show works.
Because I want y'all to guess, what do you think came in number 1 this weekend?
Okay.
Because you have 2 very big movies. Sydney, what do you think?
Between Prometheus and Madagascar?
It's one of the two.
I'm gonna say Madagascar 3 because I was in the theaters for that and not for Prometheus. So
We were also 12. but let's see if the same is true for Jacob.
You know, it's kind of funny that it came out in 2012 because I could have sworn I was like 8 when that movie came out. Like, I feel like 12 might have been a little too old to see Madagascar.
Jacob?
I'm gonna say I think it was also Madagascar because I feel like Prometheus was a bit of a cult classic, a bit of a sleeper hit.
Well, you're both right. Madagascar 3 did win the weekend with about 60 million, but then not far behind was Prometheus with a little over 50.
Okay.
So it was not a blowout.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was followed by Prometheus and then kind of a repeat of the top 3 of last weekend of Snow White and the Huntsman, Men in Black 3, and The Avengers.
Yeah.
Well, you're shaking your head, Jacob?
Snow White just...
Madagascar beat the Avengers?
Well, The Avengers in its, like, 5th week.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, because the Avengers came out,
Or 6th
and
week.
Madagascar was like, you call that a team-up movie? Hold my banana.
Hold my Circus Afro.
Wait, what do they call it? I forgot. Oh, trapeze americano.
Trapeze.
Trapeze.
You have a Hulk, we have a Trapeze Americano. And then also notable at the box office, number 6, coming in right after the Avengers, because I think we've made mention of it every week since, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, still holding on. Second best movie to ever come out of India after RRR.
True. The kid from the small town with a dream.
But all right, so Prometheus.
Yeah.
We starting there?
Yeah. Oh wait, I wanted to say part of this show now is my ongoing love affair with RRR, the Indian blockbuster.
I did hear a little bit of that, and then I saw your Twitter name.
There's been a big development in Jacob's love for RRR.
So sometimes I really agonize over my tweets, and I'm like, this is gonna be like Miguel Cervantes and Don Quixote. I'm like, how do I begin this? And other times I just shoot.
I don't know if I understand that reference, but I'm gonna laugh anyway.
And other times I just shoot from the hip, and just spray and pray. And this was one of those occasions where I just tweeted about how much I love RRR and how this is the summer with 3 R's of RRR, and then the official RRR Twitter retweeted it, and it's gotten almost 2,500 likes exclusively in Indian Twitter. So I'm like, I've made it.
You have made it. That's our boy.
That's our boy. That's our boy. He's big in India.
No, that's my boy.
Oh,
Our.
Sean Anders.
I see him every week. I talked about Parada 3 Double D with him. There's no going back from that.
We've been in the trenches together. But yeah, let's talk Prometheus.
Let's do it.
All right, Jacob, since I know that you were very excited about this one, what's your history with Prometheus?
I love Prometheus. I'm one of the few proud soldiers of the Promethean army. I grew up having as many young boys do, a working knowledge of the Alien Predator universe. I think I'd seen Alien and Aliens, but then Prometheus was the first R-rated movie I ever saw in a theater. And I remember being some of the stuff in this movie is still gnarly to me. We'll get there. But I remember being there and being oh my god, having that those jitters of this is gonna be crazy. And I honestly think I like it more now than I did then. I think I really like the then I was kind of just in it for the space action horror that I've come to know and love from Ridley Scott. But we'll get into it. But something else happened along the way. A little teaser.
And what was that?
Sydney.
Okay, you're gonna get into that.
Yeah, well, I assume Jacob is trying to tee up something. You know,
Yeah.
setting up a little payoff.
I just didn't want to spoil, you know, because at the end we do how does it hold up now, and I was about to cover that. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Sydney, what's your history with Prometheus?
So I'll be completely honest. I have absolutely no history with Prometheus. This was my first time watching it. I watched it, just finished it like 2 hours ago. But yeah, I actually have never seen any of the Alien franchise at all.
Oh wow. So fresh eyes coming.
Yeah, very fresh eyes. And I've only seen a few Ridley Scott films. The most recent being House of Gucci, which is the movie of the year.
The movie of the year, even though it came out last.
Yeah. But yeah, so I really had no idea going into it what I was in for, and it was interesting. I've got some ideas.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about this one because I know that I think I'm in the minority of people who actually like this movie.
Well, so I remember when this came out and I wasn't super interested. I hadn't seen really Alien or anything. I was very confused when people were like, "Oh, this movie's a prequel." I was like, "What are you talking about? It's called Prometheus. Never heard of it before." But I think like around the time I was like 13, 14 and got really into Alien and Aliens and Predator and all that. And then eventually saw Prometheus on TV. I remember when it came out, there was a lot of discussion going around. Like, I remember there was a huge uproar over, like, is it a spin-off? Is it a prequel? Like, people really splitting hairs on that. And then people being pretty split on the movie. And I remember seeing it a few years ago on TV, and I thought it was good. I liked it overall, but I guess, do I jump in now to my opinion of this movie now? I'm sorry, Jacob. I'm just gonna say that.
Do it.
I did not like it this time watching. I did not like it this time watching it.
I understand.
So we have some differing perspectives coming into
My opinion is
this
forever
movie.
altered. If I'm not on the next episode, y'all know why.
I actually watched both of these movies back to back, and they actually have more in common than you would think.
Oh, really?
Well, mostly because, like, in both movies, everyone is dangerously horny. Like,
That is true.
more so in
I see
Madagascar,
that.
though, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, Madagascar was a kid's movie, and everyone was trying to fuck.
Ooh, that hippo.
Oh, yeah.
Gloria.
Gloria. Where do you want to start?
Let's
on it?
begin.
Since this is your baby.
All right. The year is 2180. The starship Nostromo sets sail. Sigourney Weaver's aboard. Nah, I'm just playing, guys. This ain't your dad's Alien. This is Prometheus 2012. First of all, I would like to say I think Ridley Scott is a beast man akin more to a wolf. Because he because I feel like he's like a million years old, and this movie I feel like doesn't feel like it was made by a geezer. Like, Colin and I are both very, very well versed in the works of Billy Wilder because of a class we took. And when we got to like his later movies, they were still good, but they felt like they were being made by a relic of another time. And I feel like Ridley Scott's really good about keeping up with the times and making stuff that still feels relevant. Like, even recently with Last Duel. I didn't see House of Gucci, so I can't speak to that. But
Oh, it's amazing.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
some are saying that's what teed up Leto for Morbius. That's what they scouted him.
It got him ready.
I can't wait for 10 years from now where we can talk about Morbius.
Yes.
We're just gonna talk about it for like 3 months straight. 10 years from now, because it's the summer of Morbius.
Yeah.
We gotta relive the summer of Morbius.
It's a Morbius boy summer.
Undead Boy Summer.
I can't wait for the Morbius RRR crossover, and it's Morbius.
Man, Beam and Rom could kick Morbius's ass. I haven't even seen Morbius, but I know it. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I did look it up. Ridley Scott is currently 84.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So he's...
And I think he was just directing a Napoleon movie starring Joaquin Phoenix. And so he's not slowing down.
Yeah.
He's a real Clint Eastwood type.
Yeah, I feel like him and Spielberg are kind of like the two directors from the like 70s that are still doing stuff. Because I feel like Coppola doesn't really do anything. Who else even? Scorsese. I guess Scorsese does stuff still.
Scorsese does. Lucas doesn't. He just makes things in his basement.
Yeah.
With his $4 billion Disney dollars.
And I love that quote. I don't know if you guys have seen. There's like an interview with Lucas where they're like, "What are you working on now? You've sold Star Wars," and he's like, I'm making some secret projects, and they're like, when can we see that? Like, that sounds awesome. And he's like, no one will ever see them, just me and my friends.
I have heard of stuff like that. This is very off topic, but have you seen the clip of it was George Lucas was on the red carpet for The Force Awakens, and they asked him that question about like, oh, what are you doing now? And he's like, oh, I'm just making like some little independent projects. So he's like, oh, they're just for me and my friends. And then Frank Marshall, like who produced like Indiana Jones and stuff with him, like comes up to him and is like, and Frank Marshall's also like 3 feet tall. And he comes up and starts like taunting Lucas during it, and he's like, Star Wars, boo, Jurassic World, #1, like, because that had just become the biggest opening weekend ever. And then George Lucas just takes a pause, looks at him and says, we will crush you like a bug.
He's my hero. Dream guest.
He does not care. Dream But enough about George Lucas.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with this project besides being an old man in film, and we've got enough of those.
Amen.
I need a soundboard so I can be like, woo!
No, the one that like was in Moody was the best.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I missed that.
It just had all the terrible sound effects.
But yeah, my opinion on Ridley Scott is interesting. I don't know, because my opinion is that I like a lot of his movies. I think he's falls victim to his movies are really only as good as the script. Which is why because I think like Alien's great, Gladiator's great, The Martian's great, but I feel like when around the time this movie came out, he did that Robin Hood movie with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
He did a movie called The Counselor with Michael Fassbender, which I heard was just horrible. And so, like, I feel like... And also, like, I heard The Last Duel was great. Haven't seen it. House of Gucci.
A movie.
There's a lot to say about that movie, but... But so I think it is interesting to see him kind of return to a franchise like this. I was kind of wondering, it was like, did this start as an Alien prequel? Or was this something else that then they're like, oh, we could work this back into... the Alien universe.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, because one of my problems with this is that the connections... Because I recently watched all the Alien movies. I watched them in order that they came out. So I watched Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, then Prometheus, then Covenant. And I kind of wish that it had the connection to Alien had been a little clearer, because like watching them like that, I was still like, wait, so is this that or is this something else, or like kind of thing. But yeah, which I guess, should we like tell people what the plot of this movie even is?
Well, first I want to know, like, from Sydney, like, since you haven't seen any Alien stuff, like, was there anything that you were confused on with that? Because I'm a big Alien fan, and I'm confused on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I spent a good portion of the movie kind of confused, but then, you know, at the end, whenever the engineer, like, gives birth from his chest-o-see, I was like, okay, I know enough to know that that's the alien.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The alien from Alien. But yeah, also that part reminded me a lot of that fateful scene in Men, which I think I'll talk about, which was awful.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm very excited. I know it's not good, but I'm curious.
It's real bad.
Yeah, not a fan, but That is funny that you mentioned that. It's definitely similar to the ending of Men.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I also did not think that the script was that great. Like, visually, it was really good, but I was looking up on Wikipedia, and apparently it was shot on 3D cameras, because I think that this was the time when, like, 3D was the big thing. So I can imagine this being, like, really great and epic in theaters with the 3D glasses, but just, like, watching it on my phone, it, like, felt way more flat. Like,
That's fair.
I mean, it makes sense why, but
Yeah.
yeah. So Jacob, you saw it in theaters, right?
Yeah, and I actually forgot it was in 3D.
Did the 3D experience?
Yeah, but now that you say that, I think I remember having the glasses on. I don't remember it being particularly amazing in 3D. I mean, it was no Avatar. And there was no parts where, like, Melvin the giraffe's big neck came out towards the screen.
Yeah, I was thinking, because, like, I think we mentioned last episode, like, Snow White and the Huntsman was definitely released in 3D. Like,
Yeah.
So Avatar was 3 years ago at this point. Alice in Wonderland, which is another, like, big 3D movie, was 2 years ago prior to this. So this is the point where everything's in 3D.
Yeah.
Everything is being put in 3D. And definitely, like, Madagascar 3 has those moments where you're watching on just your television and you can tell, like, okay,
Yeah.
that's the giraffe they're shoving things closer to the camera. They don't really do that in this one, but I imagine it could have enhanced it.
There's no part where, like, the surgery machine, we go from, like, belly POV and the giant robot arms come straight towards you.
Oh my god, the chest staples are coming right at me.
Ah!
I feel like we just really over-exaggerated, like, the quality of 3D movies.
Yeah.
10 years ago, because, like, it died out so quickly. I remember my mom actually bought a TV in, like, 2011 for our home that was a 3D TV, and it came with the 3D glasses.
Oh,
yeah, it came with the 3D glasses and everything, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever for a week, and then after I just, like, watched TV normally. So...
Yeah, my aunt and uncle bought a 3D TV because someone told them it was going to be the next big thing. But then they're like, oh, nothing's being, like, released, like, on, like, Blu-ray for 3D. And so I think the only thing they had was, like, Megamind in 3D. Which that was how I saw Megamind, and I loved Megamind, but this is my aunt and uncle who are a lot older and have kids that are way older than me. What are they doing watching Megamind every night?
You know, you say nothing was released in 3D. I tell you, I watched this on my 3D Blu-ray that I've had since 2012. But I did watch it on the normal Blu-ray because I don't think I've ever touched the 3D Blu-ray that's in there. So that was probably $35 well spent or whatever it was.
Did it come with glasses, or...?
It didn't come with glass. I guess you were supposed to have your own 3D TV set up, but I didn't, so I just watched the normal Blu-ray.
I did see what was it? I remember this is very not related, but when they released Spy Kids 3D on, like, DVD, I remember that, like, you didn't need a 3D TV for that. They just had, like, you could watch it normal or watch it with, like, the tinted film over it, and they had, like, each copy came with the plastic like red and blue glasses, but they only came with 4 of them. And so when me and my sister watched it with, like, one of her friends, one of my friends, and one of her friend's sisters, like, one of us just had to watch the super blurry version. And I think it was me. I think we traded off.
Those were the glory days.
Jacob, do you want to lead us in on this expedition?
Okay. And expedition is the right word. Because I think part of what I like about this movie is the kind of, like, exploratory vibe, you know? Because Alien is, like, they're basically truckers. They're just transporting something, and then they get attacked by an alien. And then aliens, they're, like, soldiers. But this is, like, they genuinely are going... So the premise is, our 2 main characters are these scientists. I guess archaeologists, kind of. But also... yeah, I guess archaeologists. One of them is a Christian lady named...
Elizabeth
Shaw. Yeah, I could not remember her first name. But yeah, Shaw. And then her husband / boyfriend. I don't think they ever say.
Yeah, like undefined romantic interest.
Yeah, her lover, the guy from Upgrade. And his name is Holloway. Anyway,
Yes.
I can't believe I can't remember their names because for a lot of it they're wearing little hats that say it on their forehead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these two lovers who are also scientists are traveling around the world, and we meet them at the Isle of Skye in Scotland, where they find this cave painting of a giant man pointing to the stars. And we learn that they've seen this kind of thing all over the world, thousands of years separated in civilizations that have never met each other. And they're like, the only thing we can do is find that pattern of stars and go there ourselves. And so they do. 10 years later, aboard the starship Prometheus. A colorful cast of characters, including Charlize Theron again. She was
an alum from last week.
Once a proud evil queen, now sort of also an evil queen.
She was like so hot and so mean.
Oh yeah,
in this movie.
Yeah.
And
Hey, some people are into that.
No, I was into it, honestly.
Yeah.
She was just she was mean.
Yeah.
Was...
Well, that's kind of a staple of the Alien franchises, like a female protagonist, which they've all had. But I feel like even this is a weird connection, but I feel like even the villain, I guess Vickers is Charlize Theron. I guess she's not really the villain, but there's also like the queen alien in like a few of the movies. It's like that kind of matriarch. But
so there's like a female protagonist and a female antagonist in all of them?
Except for
Not really.
Not all of them.
Not really in the first
Yeah, not
Alien.
the first one.
I guess Aliens... Well, in Alien 3, she's the only woman because she lands on a prison planet.
And that's the worst.
Fellas.
Alien 3's the worst one. Coincidence?
Okay, Mr. Resurrection Defender. The one where Ripley has a 5-minute basketball scene.
The basketball motif was continued, which I think is fascinating. I'll try not to talk about too much the Alien franchise, but it's so strange to me. Ridley Scott made the first Alien movie, then Aliens was like, what if we did an action movie that had the aliens in it? Then Alien 3 was like, okay, we're back to doing kind of a thrillery thing, but this movie sucks and I don't care. And and then Alien 4 was like, what if basketball and religion? And then Ridley Scott comes back in and he's like,
and kind of a comedy.
Yeah. And Ridley Scott's back and then he goes, you know what? I really like what they were doing, and there's still the religion and the basketball scene.
Yeah, Prometheus has a lot of religion stuff,
Yeah.
too.
There's a ton of religion stuff in this one.
I was just gonna say Alien 3, she falls into the fire and she's in the Christ pose, the Christ the Redeemer T-pose.
But yeah, it was interesting watching this one because like the opening shot of it, where you see like kind of the crescent of the Earth as a ship is approaching it. It was giving me a lot of like, that felt like a very clear 2001 homage. And I think kind of going into my rewatch of this one, I was like, okay, let's detach like from this as an Alien movie. Like this is like, has a lot of questions about, it's trying to answer a lot of questions about like, man and creation and, creators and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely has that in that first scene, which I don't think you mentioned, was like, we see one of these aliens that they're looking for, the engineers as they're called, on Earth. He pops open a little sparkling water, takes a sip of
His
it,
LaCroix.
It's
then collapses into dust.
Yeah.
It's like NoHo Hank from Barry drinking a LaCroix and then collapses.
Hey, no spoilers. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's so
It's
good.
just a character.
Yeah.
And he's bald.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So that's your spoiler.
I know NoHo Hank. I saw the first season.
Oh, okay.
He's
You
like,
gotta keep watching. Season 3 just ended.
I hear it's really good.
Bruh, season 3 is so good.
Yeah, but that was the weirdest part.
Just finished it this morning.
Was when the engineer was like, "Do you want a Subway sandwich? Submarine sandwich?"
Capri Sun beer.
But yeah, I totally forgot about that, and I actually think that scene is badass. I think the effects in this are like really cool because
They are really
Yeah,
good.
I think pretty much all the creatures are practical. I mean, not the like face hugger at the end, but I think the engineers are practical because they look really good.
They look amazing.
Yeah, this is still I was feeling very nostalgic watching this because I still maintain. I don't know. I don't like to be like a stuff used to be better guy, but like I do feel like modern CG is very like glossy and looks fake to me. So everything in this movie like felt very real, and I think a lot of it was. But like even the CG stuff looked really good to me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So Colin or Sydney, do y'all remember what happens next?
They land on this planet. They find something that looks like a building. They go inside, and hijinks ensue.
Truly, it's like Home Alone.
And yeah, so they go in the building and then they join the Afro Circus, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
They have
Okay.
to sneak aboard the building. The animal hunters after
Yeah.
them. Played by Frances McDormand.
That blew my. We'll get there, but that blew my mind when I learned that was Frances McDormand. But yeah, they go into this big dome on the alien planet because I like this reasoning. God doesn't build in straight lines, so they knew it. They knew an alien built it. But yeah, they're doing their research, and we should mention tensions are high in the crew because that's another weird thing. As much as I like this movie, there are like a lot of weird moments. Like, it's weird to me that the crew wasn't told what they were doing before they set out. Like, I guess it was supposed to be top secret.
That was my big question.
That made no sense.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, why would you take them on this, like, even if it's supposed to be top secret, it's like, you can tell them before they go to sleep for, cryosleep for like 3 years, and then wake up at the edge of space, and then want to mutiny and not do this mission.
Yeah, because it's like, why would they even agree to go into space for 2 years asleep if they didn't know what they're... I guess one of them goes, I'm just here for the money. So it's like, okay. And also, that was the bad guy for Mission Impossible, but with a mohawk.
Yeah, Sean Hayes.
Yeah. I think another take I have about this film is that I don't know. I'm sure, I don't know a lot of scientists, but I'm sure they come in all shapes and sizes and personalities. But I felt like there was an effort to make some of these scientists like, I'm the bad boy, I'm the cool guy. And I kind of wish there were more that were just like dorks, like what's his name? Paul Bettany in Master and Commander, where he's like, I just love lizards. And like, but there were so many of them where they're like, oh, God blimey, I'm a geologist. Like,
well, just that's my big problem with the movie is just going off of what you said about I think what's something that's interesting about the first Alien is that the crew kind of feels very much like they're truckers in space. Like they're just hauling, I think, ore or something. And they feel very organic. Like there's conflict between them, but the personalities aren't like so stark. Whereas in this one, it is like how you mentioned of like, I'm the quirky scientist, I'm the tough scientist, and like they're all so dumb for being on a space mission.
Yeah.
And I think that was what was really throwing me off during this, because I really came in, I really wanted to like this.
Yeah.
And I think my big problem was just like, it's like, why didn't you explain this to them before they came here? Because now they're all upset for some reason.
Yeah.
But then while they're all there, like even Charlize Theron, who I guess knew the mission, she's like, all right, are we done yet? Can we go home?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like even if you didn't want to come, like, why you think you're gonna find this thing in like 10 minutes and then go home after being in cryosleep for 2 years?
And she also tells them as soon as they get there, before they go into the dome, Charlize Theron calls in the two main scientists, and she's like, if you meet these engineers, you will not make contact, you will not talk to them, you will not like engage them. And it's like, wait, so what? Like, are you just gonna take a couple Polaroids and fly back? Like,
I mean, I mean, honestly, well, that's what they do on the moon.
True.
That's what, that's like what, it's multiple expeditions, you don't want to have these just random scientists be the ones to be like, all right, this is how humanity makes its first and only impression. So I was like fine with that. I felt kind of weird that the scientists were so like gung-ho that it's like, no, we deserve to be the ones to meet our creators. We're entitled to it.
Yeah. That was my least favorite character was Shaw's boy toy. I felt like
He was just like himbo in a bad way.
Yeah.
He was so bad.
Like, they really felt like, because, I mean, like, he was fine when he was, like, with her, but I didn't feel like he, like, again, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't want everyone to be in, like, lab coats and Coke bottle glasses, but I felt like his behavior was unbecoming of a doctor.
Well, literally, when they get to, like, within the alien dome, they're like all wearing their helmets and they do a reading and they're like, oh, there's oxygen in here, and he's like, oh, okay, and then he's like taking off his helmet.
He was like anti-mask.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, well,
he was like, I can't breathe.
Getting this thing
I
off.
can't breathe with this.
I can't breathe with this space helmet on.
There's too much oxygen.
And it's like, a lot of problems would have been solved if you just kept that dang helmet on.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care if there is oxygen in there. It's like, this is an interesting finding that's like, okay, let's take this back to the lab and report on this.
Like, that was one of the other things that, I know this might be more later on, like, how it holds up, but there were, like, several things like that where I was like, okay, there's kind of parallels to this today.
Yeah.
Like, with the mask off thing, and then, like, with the abortion, and, like...
Yeah.
I literally wrote down, David is so Greg Abbott. Because... we can get more into that later. I don't know if we're talking about the procedure yet.
Let's get into...
Well, we haven't even mentioned David.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the star of this movie.
Let's talk about that weird twink AI.
Michael Fassbender, who also, like, models his whole persona off of Lawrence of Arabia.
My favorite part was when he was making the drinks and he just like had the syrup bottle like completely upside down for like 10 full seconds for some reason.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love Michael Fassbender is great. He's great in this movie and he's great in Alien Covenant especially.
I think he's awesome in Covenant because he plays two robots that don't like each other.
Yeah, that are very different personalities.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weird because there was a take that I saw. It was like praising Alien Covenant, and it was like, Alien Covenant is great because it's not an alien movie, it's a David movie.
True. Which
it's just about him.
My roommates and I, when we watched all of them, we realized I lied. I was gonna say there are 5, but there are 6 Alien movies. But the 1 through 4 was kind of Ripley's story, Sigourney Weaver, and then she wasn't in this one, obviously. And then she wasn't in Covenant, but they are both like the David movie. And so my roommates and I were like, what if Alien 7 bring them back together and it's Ripley versus David, the like ultimate good of the universe, ultimate bad. Like,
oh my god.
And I was saying like David should, like, because in Covenant he starts experimenting with like, he basically evolves the aliens farther to make those, more so we know and love. And so I was like, what if he tries to make himself an alien, and he's like in like that Dune creature that's like the worm with the human face. He's like... Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I know my dad's listening and going, oh, I know what he's talking about. So they have one part of their crew is a robot named David, who is the only one who stayed awake during the whole voyage, and he used that time to watch Shaw's dreams so he could like learn her backstory about how her dad was Christian and her mom died from the pox.
A mummy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I did not like how that looked whenever he was viewing their dreams. That weird grainy or wavy filter over it. I was like, this looks like shit.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. And was that Patrick Wilson playing her dad in the flashback?
Yeah, who I do not believe is British in real life.
No, he's not.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because he was going like in and out of American and British.
Yeah. It's also weird because, like, another weird casting choice. This movie is, like, I feel like weirdly stacked. Like, I don't know if these actors were all big in 2012 or if they got bigger afterwards. But, like, Idris Elba is the captain of Prometheus. Benedict Wong is in it. And he goes on to be in The Martian and obviously Doctor Strange. And he has, like, no lines.
No, he had like 4 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
he's like, oh, glad our bet is done. Our bet that the audience was so invested in.
I know. I kind of was like, what are they talking about? And then, but the weirdest one to me is they cast Guy Pearce, who at this point still like looks like, you know, handsome Guy Pearce, but he's in like really old age makeup, like he's like gnarled.
Yeah, he's like on the brink of death.
But they never show you a flashback where it's Guy Pearce. It's always old man.
Yeah, that was the most baffling decision for me. Which the only reason that it's paid off is because he appears at the beginning of Alien Covenant, a sequel that came out 5 years later, and at the beginning has a small scene of him kind of like where he's still aged up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's still like, why didn't you just cast like an old man? Because he's not horrible in the movie. It's just like,
Why?
you could have cast anyone else.
I feel
Cast
like
Robert Duvall in that role.
I feel like Ridley Scott just loves putting young people in old man makeup.
He
Like with
he loves
Jared
putting
Leto.
Jared Leto in a fat suit.
That abomination.
Ridley knew the whole
He's-
time. He knew he was gonna have that young scene at the beginning of Covenant.
Ridley Scott
is
is
all
actually
messed up.
just a young guy in old man prosthetic.
Wait, that makes perfect sense. That's why that's why he keeps making these bangers.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ridley. Well, he does have a son who is also a director, and so maybe he has the son wear his a suit to look like his.
It's like
dad.
Fedora.
Oh my god, it's just like Fedora. This is a sick Billy Wilder reference for all for the maybe one other person listening that's seen Fedora. Hi, Blake.
I see one fedora right now.
Oh yeah.
That's the only
Jacob is
fedora.
definitely wearing a fedora.
I'm wearing
It's the only
my.
one I'm interested in.
As I talk about Prometheus, I have to wear my incel hat.
Which, I mean, okay, speaking of incel, this movie has does some weird things with Shaw's character. Because, like, they kind of just throw out of nowhere, like, they say something about, she's talking with her boyfriend / husband about, like, oh, what would make them, like, our creators or something. And he's like, oh, if they create life. And then she says something about, like, I can't create life.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
and it's like obvious. It's like a really hard moment for her, like her infertility, and then he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that," and then they have sex, and it's like, what?
yeah, comes completely out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only there so then it's surprising when then she has a weird alien baby.
Yeah.
Like 4 scenes later.
Thematically, I enjoy it. I like all the stuff about, like, I think my favorite thing about this movie is the, like, lore, and even though it sometimes doesn't match up, but I like all the, like, stuff it makes you ponder about, like, what is it in the second one does this even more, but, like, what is it to be human, and, like, where do we come from, and how important is faith, like, because there's a big thing where she wears her cross necklace all the time, and then she finds this alien that essentially is God, or this race of aliens that created humans, and she still chooses to wear her cross, and it's like, and I think I looked it up one time. I think Ridley Scott is an atheist, so it's interesting to me that he keeps making these religious movies, because he also made, like, Kingdom of Heaven, which is all about, like, the Crusades and stuff. But I think all that stuff's really interesting. I think that's why I'm willing to forgive some of the stuff that's not great cinema.
I thought it did have like some good things to say about abortion and reproductive rights. Like I was saying earlier, like there's kind of a lot of parallels to today. Like whenever David was like, "Oh yeah, you're pregnant," and she was like, "Well, I need to get rid of it," and he was like, "No, that's not an option."
Yeah.
And like he's just lying to her basically.
Yeah.
And then when she was like talking to the machine, and was trying to get this procedure, like it was only designed for like the male body, so she was like DIY abortion. Which obviously, like, when abortions aren't available, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's a good setup for a scene of, like, she has to literally perform surgery on herself.
Yeah.
But that is weird because that, like, medical pod that does all the procedures, that's Charlize Theron's, and she's like, be careful with that. It's very expensive. There's only 10 ever made. Why does she have that if it's only calibrated for the male body?
I'll tell you why. It's actually it's a little bit of foreshadowing because it's on board for Wayland.
Oh, is it?
Because there's a twist right after that Wayland, who's old Guy Pearce, and also, I don't have to tell you guys that later in the Alien movies, he joins forces, they make the Wayland-Yutani Corporation. Anyway.
They do that in between Alien and Aliens. Everyone knows that. Sydney's nodding her head.
Yeah, it's all making a little bit more sense now, because I was like, why am I so confused? Why don't I know any of these people or what's going on? And it's because I didn't have time to watch the entire franchise today.
So if you guys listening are really confused, pause the episode, go watch the 9 hours of Alien movies, and then come back. Or it's even more of that, like 12 hours.
9, there would be like 12. Yeah. More than that.
You can skip 3.
and 4.
No, 4 is important.
But then you gotta make up for it and watch both Alien versus Predator movies.
Yeah, those actually have some important parts.
Definitely can.
Yeah. That was actually another. Well, I don't want to get too off topic, but early on in this movie, when they get to the engineer planet, they see like a carving on the wall that looks like the xenomorph, and so that was something that like confused me with the lore, because then when we start seeing the alien like birthed from the engineer, it's not quite a xenomorph, it's like a proto xenomorph. So I'm like, were they engineering it with that as their end goal, or like, that just seems weird to me, like, because like, evolutionarily speaking, you can't like predict that. Like, I don't know, that was just weird to me.
That's the really confusing thing about this movie. Like Cindy, since you haven't seen the other ones, like, you know at the end that, oh, that's an alien, but like it doesn't, like, it looks different than how they look in all of the other ones. Like, its mouth is super different, like it has the same like shaped head, but it's like, okay, why is that here? And also, like, it doesn't really line up with where we then meet the aliens in Alien, because we find it's a different engineer ship at the beginning of Alien, and like it has that look of like where they're sitting in the chair and they have what looks like a big like telescope in front of them. Like, that was in the 70s film and was very cool, very ambiguous. But it's not on the planet that they're on, and they find just eggs that then like harvest them. So it's, the whole timeline is so confusing.
That's the most confusing part. It seems like they should have just ended this, or maybe if they knew they wanted to do Covenant, then ended Covenant with that ship landing to set up Alien, because like they show the same type of donut ship going off into space, but then it can't be that ship because the eggs don't exist yet, because they haven't been created.
Yeah, because David has to create them. It's
Ridley Scott is a genius.
So is that why there's like discourse about whether it's a prequel or not? Like,
well, it's definitely a prequel, because they say like this takes place in like 2090, and I think Alien takes place in 2180, and so like, but then I don't remember where Covenant takes place. It's just like, it doesn't line up very well, or like, because I think when Alien Covenant came out, Ridley Scott was like, oh yeah, we have plans for 5 more sequels, and it's like,
Jesus Christ,
they always be saying shit like that. They were like, we need 8 Fantastic Beasts films.
And we're gonna get every one of them.
They're just trying to like outlive Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And they never will.
2 Aliens, 2 Predators.
We might have
Vin Diesel should really punch a Predator.
That'd be amazing.
Oh wait, like go on to catch a Predator.
I'm not against it.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh wow.
But yeah, Cindy, just jumping back to what you were talking about with kind of the talking about like reproductive health and all that. That's kind of been an Alien for a while.
Okay, interesting.
With at least it's had like the way the aliens kind of appear is kind of synonymous with kind of sexual assault, because the way, I don't know if I don't know what you know about it, but like when they're born they find like eggs, and then the eggs open up and the thing called that we call a face hugger jumps out, forcibly attaches to someone's mouth and lays the egg inside a person, which then bursts out their chest.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a parallel to rape or sexual assault.
So we're supposed to assume that happened to her?
No, so that's how it happens
like the face hugger thing, or?
That's how it happens in later movies. In this one though, it's that I think it's supposed to be that David poisons Holloway, and then when he has when he has sex with her,
and then when he has sex with her,
Okay.
But so that's another layer of just like, it's not very straightforward on that, like, and also the thing she gives birth to is like a giant squid monster that I guess kind of looks like a giant face hugger
at the end,
but it's so confusing as an Alien prequel. Like it would almost make more sense if they just said it's not an Alien movie, like it's just something else.
It also was interesting,
people looking for God.
Yeah, it was interesting with like her being so religious and that being her whole thing, you know, and she was just immediately like, I need an abortion. Which, like, I don't know, maybe that happens sometimes, but obviously a lot of like anti-abortion people are super religious, so maybe she should have been like, oh, it's so cute, I'm gonna keep it.
Also,
that's so cute.
But then been like, oh shit, I gotta kill this baby.
I just realized, actually, that would have been cool. I would have been down for that. I feel like that kind of happens in Alien 4. There's like a weird alien human hybrid that's like has Sigourney Weaver's DNA. It's really upsetting and weird.
It looks horrible.
It looks so gross.
It's horrible.
It's like got like it has like the alien face, but then has kind of human eyes like deep in it. Anyway,
but yeah, sorry, I just wanted to finish that thought. I feel like that's just another one of the like character inconsistencies and just, I guess, script inconsistencies that I noticed. Like, if she's so religious, I feel like there would be more like conflict with her just immediately wanting to like get this abortion and do like an at-home abortion. But I don't know the series, so maybe.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I
don't know.
It is also that the thing that was kind of scaring me that I don't think they really bring up is because they say she's 3 months pregnant.
Yeah.
When she's only been awake for like 2 days. So that idea of like, oh, she's been in cryo sleep for 2 years at that point. It's not brought up, but that is there is that kind of underlying fear with David, because David brings up of like, oh, I was watching your dreams and like looking through like her memories. So I'm honestly surprised at the end that she kind of trusts David enough to kind of go off with him at the end, because it's been very clear of like, there's no trust in this guy.
Yeah, I don't know how David got so evil. Maybe he was just always evil.
I think,
he started out being like a nice guy, and you know, he didn't have a soul or whatever, but then he was just evil.
Well, you know, even the devil trembles when a nice guy's heart breaks.
Oh, and Sydney, I texted in our group chat a picture of the alien human hybrid from Alien 4.
Okay, let me see.
So upsetting.
Aw, so cute.
It has little puppy dog eyes.
It's little teeth.
Yeah, little teepees.
Oh god.
But can we talk about? So we mentioned there's the scientist played by the Mission Impossible villain, who like the Scottish one, and he's with the real dorky scientist.
Yeah. This
was the part that drove me insane.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
So they're in the alien building. They're looking around and they find the fairly well preserved body of an engineer. And these two guys are like, "Oh, we can't handle this. We're leaving. We're just leaving. We're going back to the ship." So they leave, and we're with the other guys for a little bit, and then they have to hurry back because a storm's coming. And it's a tense scene. They get back there, and they're like, "Wait, the other guys aren't back yet?" Cut to them being like, "We passed this already."
Yeah. Which,
and what the Scottish guy made the map of the place. How did they get lost?
Yeah. He was all the characters that were like, I'm cool, kind of sucked ass. Like maybe the
like what was the purpose?
Yeah, like because he like even all his lines, and I mean I think that guy's a good actor, but like I feel like everything he said I was like what? Like he like when he goes he's like, if there's anything in here, my pups will find it. And he's got these two robots that map out everything, and they're like pups, and he's like, yeah, pups, my pups. And I was like, what? Why did we devote 15 seconds?
There's no kink at Pride and no kink on this spaceship.
I actually do. I do wonder if Alien is the reason why. Do y'all know there's like a fetish for having eggs laid in you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Whenever.
Oh my God.
So, I know you said your dad's listening to this, so I'm sorry, Papa Sanger. But
Sorry, Jeff.
that part where at the end I guess the face hugger, he's like hugging the engineer, and he like he like sticks his, I guess, ovipositor in there. There's like this crazy sex toy brand.
His squid ussy.
Yeah.
Squidosy. There's this crazy sex toy brand called like something dragon, and they have like ovipositor sex toys like that like lay fake eggs.
Yeah.
And they just like shoot them out. So
yeah, and they actually
maybe this started that.
Shoot them into what?
whatever you want. I actually
I'm so scared.
I should defend
I'm gonna try to
myself for a
find it.
moment.
This is scarier than the rest of the movie.
It kind of, no kink shame, I guess, but it is a bit odd. Like I only know about this because of there's been like a couple like YouTubers who have been like, look at this thing I ordered, and they kind of look like the facehugger at the end of this movie because it has the one big stem and then all the little ones.
It might have been the bad dragon. I'm trying to find the ovipositor one.
Oh god, yeah. Send a link for this. Yeah, just
Colin's like, I just want to see the link.
I just want to see what it looks like. Like any available retailers to buy.
Y'all aren't gonna believe this. So the ovipositor, sex toy on Bad Dragon is called the Ridley.
Oh. It all comes full circle.
Ridley Scott is so proud of his accomplishments.
Yeah. Wow, the more you know. Life imitates art.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh, that link. Yes. Just
I'm so sorry.
Just gonna. Oh. How could you? Oh.
Yeah, and
Why is it just says Ridley dildo.
Colin's like, unrelated, but can someone Venmo me $85?
85.
Only 85. Whoa.
That's a steal.
It's kind of a steal.
I don't know about y'all, but if I'm
just imagining it like firing like a Nerf gun. Dum, dum, dum.
And apparently the eggs, you like make them yourself out of like gelatin and put them in the freezer, and then they can dissolve inside of you.
Interesting. Happy Pride.
Yeah.
Happy Pride.
Yeah. I have this weird thing where I like a woman's touch. Since we're
I'll get us back on track with I'm just gonna get all the sexual stuff out of the way now. Everything in that movie looked like a vagina.
Yeah. That's actually kind of
so that's keeping in track.
Yeah. That's a running theme in the Alien movies.
The little abortion had like 10 alien ussies. And then also like the face hugger at the end also had a bunch of holes.
Yeah.
And an egg laying ovipositor.
Proboscis.
Yeah. Well, so because a lot of the design that Alien is based off is H.R. Geiger work, which his work is very kind of like sexually charged and very gothic. So there's a lot of stuff like in Alien, the original Alien, that this is kind of borrowing off, if not really running with it.
Yeah.
As opposed,
That's actually one of the something. I think some designs that were made for the earlier movies actually ended up in this one, which is cool. Like the dome they go into, it kind of has. I don't know if you get a good look at it, but like it has like a kind of a face on it on the front. And that's like,
I didn't see that.
That's something that it was like a sketch from like the 70s, I think, that he did. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of cock and ball imagery in this.
Sorry, Jeff.
He's a doctor. He knows.
My name is Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of ussies, I mean, there's the snake ussie.
Oh my God.
I wrote down in my notes, she bit him with her snussie. That part also, when, I do not remember their names right now, but whenever they saw, like, that snake.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Harold and
Stupid
Kumar.
and stupider. They were, like, looking at the snake, and one of them was like, oh, don't go near her, and then the other was like, how you know that's a female? Or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and then she opened her face, it's like, oh,
yeah.
you know.
That was kind of a slay for her.
Good for her. Good for her. She's a real girl boss.
Good for her. It's like, these dudes are fucking idiots.
Yeah, and that
they're so.
He was the biologist too, so he's supposed to know these things, and then he's just like what I liked was at first he was like, let's stay calm, and he was like backing up, and I was like, cool. He's like, I know how to deal with animals, which also like I don't know that biologist necessarily means that, but we'll run with it. And but then he starts getting closer. He's like, hey, and I'm like, why would that be your first?
Hey, you're beautiful.
Yeah,
you're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like he's like hitting on it.
Yeah.
No, literally, no. Those dudes wanted to fuck that snake.
Yeah.
Because when he was like, oh, how you know she's a female?
It's like, who's daddy's little snake alien?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have to leave.
But so the Snussie kills the biologist guy.
Yeah.
And then
I told him he couldn't handle Snussie.
Yeah. But then, so throughout this whole movie, throughout this whole like domed place, there's all these canisters of black goo around, which we see. That's kind of the sparkling water that we see the engineer drink at the beginning, and it's very much like David takes some of it, and that's what he puts in the husband's drink, which then he drinks and then has sex with his wife, which then leads to the lovely abortion scene.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of questions about what the hell this goo is, because it seems to like bring about life, but also we see it kill the engineer at the beginning. And so then we see the Scottish guy. The snake like tears up his suit, and he like falls over and like gets face first in all the goo, and it like rots him. But then it turns him into a zombie inexplicably.
I guess my best bet is that, because I also had questions about that, and the next one I think kind of confuses it more, because then it turns into like a kind of mist, like they'll like step on a mushroom and it shoots this black mist that starts to like rot the brains or whatever.
Is that in this one or in?
That's in Covenant. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like it changes even more in the next one, but in this one I think it's supposed to be like, you know, it's like primordial ooze. It's like it's like an agent of change, whether that's destruction or so. It's like it turns him into this other creature, and it converts the engineer into like what will become human DNA, and that's my best bet, but it could be clearer. I'm a Prometheus truther.
Prometheus apologist.
Yeah. So I think we've touched on like a bunch of shit goes down inside the dome. People start to die by doing stupid stuff. They go back on board the ship. When I feel like there's every time someone's trying to get on the ship, I feel like Charlize Theron is like, I will close this motherfucker down. Like she's like, you will not come aboard the ship.
Can we talk about Charlize Theron a little bit more?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Obviously, I only got to view this one time, but I still just don't understand like what her motivation was at any point, and then was like. Which guy was her father? It was like the
Waylon, the old super old guy.
Yeah,
the guy in old makeup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was confusing to me. I just was, but she was hot, so I was like, okay.
yeah. Which also, like, same year, 1 week after Snow White and the Huntsman, and I feel like she looks so different. Like, I know in that movie
She does.
In that movie
and
they
in this one,
She
she
did
just has
not.
her hair back.
yeah.
She did look different. Like, obviously, she always looks very attractive, but she looked different in this one for some reason.
Yeah.
So
But something I think is really cool that I only noticed this time is David obviously is a robot, but Guy Pearce, old man, says, he's like, sitting among you is David. He's not he's not a human. And he goes like, he's the closest thing I'll ever have to a son. And then his real life daughter is Charlize Theron. And I thought it was cool that they kind of made them look a little similar with like the like Aryan blonde hair. And so my best bet as to her character is that she's like the, you know, I was never good enough for my dad character, like, because he always is kind of just like, whatever. And she's like, okay.
He's like, okay, are you God?
Yeah.
I'm looking for God right now.
And
everyone's dad is like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think her whole thing is like, she's just
Sorry,
like,
I can't go to your dance recital. I'm too busy searching the cosmos for God.
that'd be great if there was like a flashback where she's graduating space high school and she looks at the chair that says reserved for Wayland and it's empty.
But yeah, that was my idea on like them kind of adding at the end her motivation as to why she doesn't care about this mission at all, of like she's only there because her dad like made her go, or she's like kind of trying to impress him but isn't happy about it.
Yeah, and I think the reason
but it feels
she
like
was just a nepotism baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like King Princess.
But it doesn't really feel like that's an interesting motivation, but I don't feel like that really lines up with how she acts throughout, because her entire time is just like a complete disregard for other people's lives. Like maybe if there was more of like, I don't want to be here, but like,
yeah,
this mission's gonna go, like, I want to get this done, I want to go home.
Yeah.
Whereas instead it's like, I don't care, I'm so angry.
But then also there's that weird scene where she comes on the deck and is like, or the bridge, and is like, I'm looking at this map, and then Idris Elba's like, you know, and he has like a southern accent even though he's a British guy. He's like, if you want to get laid, you can just say it.
That part was so weird.
It was.
And he's playing a little concertina.
But so then this is right after the much talked about abortion scene.
Yeah.
And
which I
also
think is
following
legitimately scary.
the zombie scene. Yeah, the abortion scene is horrifying. And
Yeah.
Oh god.
That was my favorite scene because it kind of started getting into like body horror.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't know if the Alien franchise does that, but
Oh yeah.
Well, the chest burster a lot, because like when you see like the monster like try and burst its way out, and there's also a lot of the horrifying stuff with like sometimes the aliens will like take people and like put them in like their like nests, they're like disgusting little nest things, and leave them there to like then birth aliens.
Yeah.
That stuff's horrifying, but this is the furthest it's ever gone.
And episode, god damn it. The fourth movie also has some stuff where the reason Ripley comes back is because she's a clone. They like found some of her DNA Jurassic Park style and brought her back. Because that one takes place like the farthest in the future. But she at one point stumbles onto like their lab where they fucked up a bunch of times trying to bring her back. So there's all these like horrible like half Ripleys where she's like in a test tube. Like it's like that part's also pretty body horror. Like there's one that's still alive and she's got like half alien.
Like, kill me.
Yeah, she's like half alien, half Ripley. But yeah, that scene, like, I think, like, going back to, for but a moment to the whole, you know, that today we're still, like, dealing with, like, the goddamn pro-lifers and all their bullshit, and, and it's, like, I think this, like, I feel like you could show them this scene and be like, this is how terrifying it is to have something you don't want growing inside you. Like,
for sure. No, and like literally David was just being so Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do feel like maybe that case wouldn't work perfectly, because then you show it them and they're like, oh my god, this is horrifying, this is so brutal, when actually you can just like take a pill.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But then maybe if you show them later of what the baby turns into, of like, you want this giant squid monster to come out of them.
Yeah.
It's like your fetus could cure cancer, or it could be this terrifying alien.
Exactly.
Or it could give birth to an alien baby. But yeah, so we have the abortion scene. We have a zombie attack that's resolved quickly.
Yeah,
and then it's revealed that Wayland, old Guy Pearce, is on the ship.
Not
I guess
really
it's a big
dead.
reveal. But,
yeah.
But so he's there. He's basically this man has like minutes to live.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to meet my creator. He can save me from death.
Uh-huh.
And like Guy Pearce is doing such that weird like old man voice throughout it.
I feel like,
but
I think his
go ahead.
his like body language is actually good. Like he had that like that old man like slowly sit down. But yeah, he still sounds like he's like Maggie. Oh dearie.
It sounded a little like community theater to me.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I'm an old Southern gentleman.
It's like middle school one act plays.
Yeah.
12-year-olds playing like alcoholic 40-year-old Southern men.
I've seen so many of them.
Yeah.
I was in many of those.
Yeah.
I played the really old juror in 12 Angry Men when I was 18,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, I am a very old man.
That's you getting into character pre-show.
But yeah, and then meanwhile, David has discovered that there's a engineer still alive. That so I guess the whatever the engineers were making, these alien birthing goo pods turned on them and wiped them out, except this one who got into the like sleep chamber. So David finds him still alive and is like, I'm gonna take Wayland to meet him. And also David knows how to speak engineer because he studied a bunch of old languages from Earth.
My thing was just also like a zombie just attacked them, and it's like, all right, let's go meet the creator. Like, y'all are just not paying attention to anything that's happening.
Especially the main character, because at this point her husband too is, after he impregnates her with an alien, he which by the way, that's also interesting because it's almost like, it's not exactly like Mary and Jesus, because Mary was supposedly a virgin, but like it's like she was supposed to not be able to have kids, and then she does. It's like immaculate. But anyway,
it was immaculate.
Yeah. Emphasis on
He was
lit.
beautiful.
But so her lover becomes like disease man, and Charlize Theron is like, I won't let him on the ship, and he basically tells Charlize Theron to kill him with a flamethrower, and she does. So
that was badass.
yeah. So after all that, they're like, all right, doctor, we know you're like in the worst emotional distress of your life after this abortion and your boyfriend being lit a flame. Let's go see this alien. And she's like, okay.
Let's go talk to him. Let's see what he has to say.
She's like, okay, I'm there.
She just needed a distraction.
Yeah.
She did, yeah. Which I get, like, her motive, since this has been, like, her driving goal for, like, her whole life of, like, because she is Christian, but she believes in this higher being that has created them. And it's like, all right, let's go meet him.
Yeah.
She's gonna have some choice words with him.
Yeah. But so then I had another funny line about, like, dealing with the helmets, because they go back into the dome, and Wayland takes off his helmet, and Shaw is like, what are you doing? Like, that's how my husband got, like, sick, is probably because, like, all this toxins and stuff in the air. She says, how do we know it's not in the air? And Wayland's response is, smells fine to me. Good science. Good scientist.
He's like, do you know anyone who got alien disease? So it might be fake.
Do you even know anyone who's gotten COVID?
He was he who shall not be named pilled.
Exactly. But so they wake up the engineer. He gets up. He looks really cool. Super pale, bro. Super tall. David tries to talk to him in the quote unquote foreign language. And then the engineer just rips off David's head and knocks over Wayland and then starts killing everybody.
Yeah, and he's full of, in true alien fashion, David is full of weird robot milk.
Yeah.
That's also a thing. In pretty much every alien movie, the robot dies a gruesome death. I think my theory is that they are allowed to be more gruesome because it's a robot, so they take that opportunity. The censors, I mean, allow them to like rip their heads off or tear them in half or whatever. But
and have like their gooey intestines sticking
yeah,
Their milk.
yeah, their milk everywhere.
So then begins our mad dash to the end. The Prometheus proper has crashed. The donut ship is going down because the engineer fires up his ship and he's gonna take all of the alien goo to Earth to wipe us out. And so they're like, okay, knock down the ship with the Prometheus. You know what you have to do. That knocks the ship down. And then this part, I remember people complaining about it in 2012, and it still is silly. The ship starts rolling, like, if you imagine the way, like, a Frisbee rolls. Yeah, like, if you drop a bagel and it rolls. And so she could easily just move to the right and be out of its, like, warpath, but she just keeps running and is like, ah!
Yeah, her and Charlize Theron are running like that, and then Charlize Theron gets crushed.
Yeah, and Shaw ends up being saved because she trips and rolls to the side. And then Charlize Theron trips.
No, her faith saved her.
Oh,
Her
right.
faith, yeah. What if like the thing fell and it was like just the cross? Like there's like a sharp part that like would have impaled her, but her cross stopped it.
She's like to the engineer, like, I looked back at the beach of my life and there were 2 sets of footprints where you walked with me. But at the hardest points in my life, engineer, there was only 1 set of footprints, and the engineer was like, "Ish kakui kak."
What?
Do you guys know that story?
I know about the footprints of the sand.
Because
Why is the engineer that?
because he's God.
Jacob knows Proto-Indo-European.
My bad.
Oh boy.
But yeah, why does the end? Because so that's the whole idea of this movie of like, oh, God, basically to humanity, our creator, our God, this alien species. It's like, oh, they create us, but they were gonna come wipe us out. It's like, why? Which I think that's a really interesting idea, but I feel like the movie just kind of sacrifices that idea to then just have ships crash and the alien rip off David's head and just start smashing people.
Yeah. I want to say they get into it in the next one, but I don't really remember. But yeah, it's like I also was confused by that. I think sometimes they do things that they go like, oh, doesn't this bring up an interesting question? But then they don't like expand on that. They're like, what if God wanted to destroy humanity? And they're like, wow.
What if God bad?
Yeah, what if God bad? Yeah. They say, what if God bad? Oh, and then it'd be really cool if he ripped off a robot's head right about now.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm gonna get a shirt that's like, I've met God. He's pale and bald.
I didn't say a name, but his head. What is it? It's like, I didn't say a name, but you started picturing him, didn't you?
Yeah. All right, we gotta wrap up. Prometheus,
yeah, that's pretty much the end. They, Shaw and the head of David set off in the alien ship to take it deep into space where it can't hurt anybody.
after the engineer tries to attack Shaw near the pod where she had her lovely abortion. And and the little baby squid has now grown into a massive starfish looking thing.
Yeah.
Which she then uses to grab the engineer and escape.
Yeah.
But then we see it resemble a face hugger, and after they take off, we see the engineer give birth through his chest to an alien? Question mark?
Kind of an alien, yeah.
Kind of a xenomorph. It has a weird looking jaw. It looks like
Yeah. And then it ends. That's
Looks like an alien to me.
and then it ends with Shaw giving a monologue about this is the last log of the vessel Prometheus, and she gives some line about but I have faith.
yeah.
It's like, okay, I get what is that what the theme is? I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Which is kind of a weird,
And then
I guess is a nice thing.
it was all a dream.
It was all a dream.
She wakes up and she's still in, it's the beginning of the movie again. She wakes up from cryo sleep.
I've heard theories like that, especially about like Alien, where it's like, oh, it was all a dream. In that, because she starts the beginning asleep. That's every movie that starts with the character asleep. That's why.
Yeah. But yeah, it ends. Ridley Scott's done it again. So yeah, I guess in hindsight, how did y'all feel about as overall, Letterboxd score? How did y'all feel about Prometheus?
Sydney, you go first.
I think Letterboxd score, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay,
Okay.
that's pretty good.
That's me being generous.
Yeah.
But, I was entertained. I think I was, expecting a lot of stuff to, not age very well, but I don't really think that there was anything that, particularly stood out to me that was ooh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till we get to That's My Boy.
Oh my.
Oh.
Oh God, Sydney, you are so lucky to have not watched That's My Boy.
How I wish I could have been on it.
Yeah, I'd say Letterboxd score. The Letterboxd score I did have on this movie was a 3 out of 5. But honestly, after this watch, don't kill me, Jacob, but I'd say a 2 out of 5.
No, that's fair.
It's just, and I really wanted to like this movie this time.
Yeah.
Just I think in thinking about this movie, I was comparing it to Cloverfield, the first one, which I know, Jacob, you haven't seen.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you have, Sydney, but
Mm-mm.
that one, at least the first one, when it's all found footage, there's so much around the monster in that movie that is so ambiguous that they just don't tell you. It's so mysterious, and so people have all these theories and stuff, and I feel that's similar to Prometheus, where there's a lot there that's not really fully laid out. But I think the difference is Cloverfield, the characters are simple enough that you get their journey and still have satisfying arcs and satisfying deals of them having to survive all these obstacles. Whereas here, I feel also the character motivations are very ambiguous, because I feel even if, we said, we look at this as this and Alien Covenant as a David movie, or as movies about David, I feel they kind of course corrected an Alien Covenant to be all right, let's focus on him, because right here I'm very confused on every single decision that he's making.
Yeah.
Whereas in that one, he gets to be little evil mastermind.
Yeah. I think the idea is and this is a little unfair because it's going off of stuff they say in Covenant, but I think the idea is that going back to the creator and creation thing, it's we just the engineers created us and then treat us poorly, we created him and treat him poorly, and it makes him want to rebel and fight back because he's fuck this, I don't care. And so then in the next one they have a newer model, David, whose name is Harold or something, Hank.
It's something.
Yeah, and he
has a southern. It's Michael Fassbender with a southern accent.
Yeah, and he Walter. It's Walter, and
yeah, Walter.
And he talks about how
Mr. White.
Yeah, and then at one point David.
Mr. White.
Jesse explains the whole plot of this movie, and he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yo, Mr. White, there's an engineer on another planet. They created us.
I think I'm the Mr. White. What the hell are you talking about? Because I'm like, what? All this lore.
But in the new one, Walter or David is like, "Oh, like you've never wondered like why what it would be like. You've never wanted to rebel or whatever." And Walter's like, he's like, "They made my model like different, less human." He goes like, "You upset people." So like,
isn't there also a part in that movie where they kiss?
I think so, yeah. Michael
So
Fassbender
Alien
kisses
Covenant,
himself.
I haven't seen Alien Covenant since the theater, but I like that one more because it takes a lot more big swings. And I was also wondering, like, because this one, it doesn't feel like there's like a consistent kind of like threat. Like, we have like weird alien octopus, we have a zombie at some point. Like, I feel like if it had committed to one of those, or just had aliens, like had the xenomorph in it, because I feel like they had to course correct an Alien Covenant and call it Alien and have xenomorphs. And I feel like, and it makes it feel even more jarring with this movie.
Yeah, I agree. The moral of the story is watch Alien Covenant.
What is your Letterboxd score, Jacob?
So
5 out of 5?
I think I had because I went back and rated, like, I tried to rate like everything I remember watching throughout my life. So I think I gave it like a 3.5, and then after watching it this time, it was just like a weirdly comforting experience to me, and I was like 4 stars. I love Prometheus. I don't know why. I just like, I was watching it really late at night, and literally like lights off. I was laying in bed with my notebook, and I was like, returning to an old friend.
Ridley was cuddling up next to you.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm glad you like this one."
Wait, the toy or the man?
Both.
Or yeah, I will say, Jacob, you are not alone on this, because especially looking through like my friends' ratings on this, like it was all either like 4 stars, 5 stars, or like 1 star.
Yeah,
like there's a lot.
It's very
like,
divisive.
Yeah, there's a lot of people leaning I think people over time have definitely leaned a lot more positive on this one than I think when it came out, which I think it was pretty 50-50.
Yeah, it's much like religion. Some of us choose to believe.
But all right, we have talked a lot about Prometheus, much to digest.
Yes.
We talked about Prometheus for like about as long as the movie's runtime.
Exactly. Oh, I did want to mention one last thing, just so we can get to full Prometheus feature length. It's the budget of this movie. Since I mentioned it on like every other movie we've seen. Jacob, do you think this cost more or less than Dark Shadows as our metric? And for the record, Dark Shadows cost $150 million.
I will say,
and that's a movie of people standing in rooms.
I think this movie cost $160 million, and you can see
this movie cost.
Yeah, and you can see it on screen.
You can see it.
Yeah.
This movie of like all special effects and stuff, it has a budget of 120.
Ah!
Wow.
I hate Tim Burton.
Somehow less than that.
I will fight Tim Burton.
And also, Snow White and the Huntsman was 170 million. Don't forget that.
Where's it all going?
So this one did. It looked better than all of those, and it did well. It made 400 million. Wow. I can see why they didn't immediately greenlight a sequel. They had to wait until Ridley Scott made a good movie. They had to wait a little bit for that.
Yeah, The Martian fucks.
The Martian's great.
Big fan. A great movie.
Mm-hmm. Which it is. God, we need to move on. But do you remember? So director Neil Blomkamp, famed director of District 9 and Chappie. That's Chappie. He was tasked to do an Alien movie, and it was going to be basically what the like new Halloween movie is, where it's like, okay, we're just gonna ignore the movies people don't like and make it a direct sequel to Aliens with Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
And that was all in talks. That was in works. That was confirmed. And like it was gonna bring back like Michael Biehn and Newt and all that. And there was concept art that got shown. And then like Chappie came out, and that movie did not do well commercially or critically. But then that same year, The Martian came out, which was a big hit for Ridley Scott, the first one he'd had in a while besides Prometheus, which was mixed. But that one was huge, and so then it was basically Ridley just being like, all right, this is my franchise. and then made Alien Covenant.
Damn, I'm really conflicted because I like Alien Covenant, and I like how I kind of like how weird the franchise has become.
It's so weird.
But I do think that the idea of continuing from Aliens would be cool. Oh well, I guess we'll never know.
But continuing on now from Prometheus, a real change in tone. Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. Sydney, what's your history with this movie and with Madagascar as a whole?
All right. The Madagascar franchise is my Aliens franchise, I would say.
You're going to dump so much Melman lore on us.
Oh, yeah. So, Madagascar was one of my favorite movie franchises as a kid. Mm-hmm. I also played, there was like a Penguins of Madagascar game for the Game Boy. I think it came out in like 2005. It was
when games were good.
Literally. It was just the little penguin guys just running around New York, getting into chaos. So it was really fun. But yeah, I want to say that I saw like all 3 of the movies in theaters. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of history with it. I will say though that like watching this one again, it's definitely the worst in the franchise.
Yeah.
Jacob, what's your history with the Madagascar films? The Madagascar chronology.
The MCU.
I had seen the first one a bunch of times because it was just one of those movies that like came out in that sweet spot where like I saw it in theaters and then it was like either on TV or like at summer camp someone put it on because it was age appropriate, or we had the DVD and it was just like in the rotation. So I saw it a bunch, but I feel like I never really liked it. I just was like, oh yeah, it's Madagascar. And then the second one I think I've seen exactly one time. All I remember is there's like Alex's dad, I think, and then like there's a really handsome lion, I think, and then there's like the I like him big, I like him chunky scene. And then I saw this movie in theaters.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw 2 in theaters. I think I saw it on TV later. But I saw 3 in theaters for some reason. I think like it was like just all that was showing or something. Well, I guess not. I could have seen Prometheus, but I did see Prometheus in theaters. But I saw this for some reason. And
you could have been seeing The Dictator.
Hey, limited release.
Or That's My Boy.
Or Piranha 3 Double D.
I feel like I wasn't super jazzed to see it because I didn't like the first one and I didn't like the second one. But this one I really liked. And I remember thinking it was awesome. So I was excited to watch it again. And I'll tell you what I thought this time after a word from our sponsor.
Hello, it's me, our sponsor. Yeah, I remember, similar. Madagascar was just like, it was one of those DVDs we had. I think we had both of the first 2 on DVD that were just constantly in the rotation. I remember, like, there was, like, a little... This seems like such a relic of a bygone era, but, like...
Oh, yeah!
On the Madagascar DVD, there were, like, mini-games that you could play with the remote. Like, there was one where, like, there's, like, little... there's, like, hyenas or something in the movie. Like, those weird, like, things. But it's, like, you could, like, move the clicker and like they hit them with coconuts or something. But anyway, I do remember, similar to Jacob, like Madagascar 3 came out and it was not like I was 12 at this point, so kind of getting out of seeing like all the like super kiddie animated movies. But I remember a friend like and his mom called us. It was like, "Hey, you want to go see it?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? I don't care. I like the movies." And we go, and I think pretty sure we saw it in 3D. And I remember being very pleasantly surprised as a 12-year-old watching Madagascar 3.
Yeah.
And so watching it this time, I'll say, still a very pleasant time. And
Me too.
I'll throw this out since Sydney threw it out. In my memory, this is the best Madagascar movie. Laying down the gauntlet.
I will say I haven't seen 1 or 2 in quite a while, but
Neither have I.
something I feel like I really liked 1. I can't really remember much about 2, but for some reason something about this just felt weird. But I think so I'm going to make a bold statement.
Okay.
I think Madagascar 3 is the most divorced guy installment of the Madagascar franchise. Because
Go
That
on.
blew my mind.
because Noah Baumbach wrote Madagascar 3 to fund his divorce,
It
is also
It is the most bizarre credit.
yeah. I'm gonna go on like a little bit of a Noah Baumbach hate train. I don't like most of his movies. I've seen one that I liked, and it was the Meyerowitz stories, and that one was pretty good. But Francis Ha and Marriage Story, I'm not a big fan. Also, mostly with Marriage Story, because obviously it's like a self-insert of him, the Adam Driver character, being like this amazing prolific writer, and his like stupid bitch wife doesn't understand his writing, but in reality, like, he was writing fucking Madagascar 3.
That was after the divorce. He needed the money.
I think it was during the divorce, right? Like,
I don't know about
in
I don't know
2010. I did Google it, and the internet said that he wrote this during his divorce, or
It is.
pretty soon after the divorce. But I just think it's funny that like the Adam Driver self-insert character, writing this amazing
Who was he
piece
married
of
to?
art.
Noah Baumbach.
Was actually just him writing Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted.
Oh wow.
Well, that is he was married.
Uh,
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah.
And then cheated on her with I almost said Greta Thunberg.
Oh, Greta Gerwig. Oh no, not Greta Thunberg.
Also,
Not in 2010.
There's only
just
two
like
Gretas.
She was just like
Greta
a
Gerwig?
thought at that point.
Greta Gerwig.
damn Greta,
Sorry.
that's cool.
Damn. Yeah. I'll say I do like Noah Baumbach's work. I do like Marriage Story. I think it is a little more sympathetic to Scarlett Johansson's character. That I think you felt. Well, it was interesting because I remember first time watching Marriage Story, I was like a lot more on Adam Driver's side, but also like I saw it at a festival and had to go pee during like Scarlett Johansson's like big emotional monologue, so I missed that part and
The part where he like gamer rages and punches the wall.
No, not that part. There's a part early on where she monologues to Laura Dern and kind of lays out everything, because I feel like the movie kind of starts in her shoes and then does at more of Adam Driver's shoes. But then rewatching it second time, I'm like, oh no, I totally get her. I was like, she's very justified in this.
For sure.
But kind of tying it back to Madagascar, this was a weird period for DreamWorks, because there's like 2 or 3 movies they did, including this one, where they got like people working on their movies who I'm very surprised they did. Like Guillermo del Toro was a producer on Kung Fu Panda 2. Charlie Kaufman, I believe, is wrote the story for Kung Fu Panda 2 or something like that.
That's wild.
This is a weird period. I don't know how the hell I got them attached.
This actually made me very nostalgic watching this, not only because I have fond memories of this movie, but because I started to Colin and I watched it on a Blu-ray from the library, and and so it had all of the old ads on it, and like,
Oh yeah.
and it was just
amazing.
taking me back to that time, and I was like, oh my god, like I was like, DreamWorks was killing it.
I miss seeing the anti-piracy warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, you wouldn't download a car. But yeah, I guess what I'm going for, like, with the divorced guy energy, I don't know. I just feel like like the Madagascar 1 and 2, they just have that, like, that je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
It's very fun. But to me, this one, it just feels a little bit off. Like, I don't know if they were just really, like, phoning it in for this, but it just didn't have the same amount of jokes as, like, the previous Madagascar. But I did like, there was a lot of, like, capitalist critique in it, which obviously went over my head when I was 12.
Yeah.
Watching back, I was like, oh, damn. Like, this movie is very cynical for a kid's movie. So, yeah, just felt like a recently divorced guy wrote it. But obviously, it's still a fun time, but there's just kind of that, like, looming energy for me.
Yeah, for sure.
It does. Yeah. It does feel like, I don't know, for me, like, at least the first, like, 20 minutes, like, that first kind of set piece in Monte Carlo, like, I was like, there's, like, a joke a second in that one. Like, I was dying laughing at that part. Just, like, everything moves so fast. It does, I think, for this one, it does kind of have a feeling of, like, they kind of know it doesn't need to exist. So I feel like they're just kind of they're just like, yeah, they're in the circus, they're doing this, like it does have this feeling of just like, yeah, sure, seems fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that kind of worked for me.
I also feel like it really relishes being an animated movie. Like, like they do stuff that you can only do in animation. Like I think for me, the star of this movie is the villain.
Yes.
The French lady.
Chantal Dubois. She's she's like the most hardcore animal control agent in the world. She's like the T-1000 of catching animals.
That's a good.
So she like there's all these scenes. There's a few scenes where she's like chasing them down, and she's just like literally running through like brick walls or like chopping bananas in half with her animal catching stick.
She literally has like a Matrix bullet time moment when they're firing a gun of bananas at her.
Yeah, and I just loved like how over the top that was.
Yeah, there's like no reason for her to actually like want these animals to be dead, but she just like wants the lion head.
I love how simple her motivation is. It's just like she has all of the animals in the world on her wall, like all their heads, and she has an open spot that says lion. It's like, perfect, I'm in.
I feel like the beginning of this movie, and going back to the strange Noah Baumbach-ness of it, because I feel like after Marriage Story came out, I went on like a little bit of a Noah Baumbach kick. Not like I was like, oh my god, I love him, but I was like, I felt like it was my duty as a film student to know who this guy was. So I watched Marriage Story, and then I watched Frances Ha, and then I watched I still haven't seen Meyerowitz, but I think it's called like Young Again or something, or it's the one with Ben Stiller and I think Naomi Watts. Here, I'll look it up real quick. Noah Baumbach.
Oh, While We're Young. I saw that one.
Yeah,
that one's weird.
It's super weird, but I feel like that's another one where While We're Young, where he it's very much a like self-insert, because the character is like, he's like, I'm just this amazing documentarian, but like no one respects me. I can't finish a film because I want them to be perfect. And then his student is Adam Driver, who like basically rips him off and becomes big. But anyway, I feel like that in this movie he's like, I could really see myself as Alex the Lion. Like, he's like, I used to be on top. I used to stand on my big rock and roar at the zoo, and now what am I? Just another lion.
It does
in the
have
Sahara.
it does have that real love of New York that the Adam Driver character has in Marriage Story.
Yeah, and it's Ben Stiller again. Like while we're young, because Ben Stiller is
right.
Alex Lyon,
Yeah.
and I feel like Ben Stiller, kind of like Jerry Seinfeld or something, is like always playing characters who just love New York. Like, and
That's who he plays in Meyerowitz
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
and Night at the Museum, Zoolander. So I also thought at the beginning, like, this is why I was like, I have some, or I guess maybe that was before the show that I said that, but I was like, I have some questions about the Madagascar lore, because I haven't seen the first two movies in a long time. But, like, did anyone else feel like the beginning of this movie just, like, dropped you right in the middle? Like, the very beginning of this movie is, like, the penguins are just like, I'm out. And then Alex is like, oh, the penguins will never come back. And then you're like, what? Why did they leave? What's happening? And then you find out that they're running like a gambling like grift with the monkeys in Monte Carlo. And one of the monkeys is pretending to be, and I quote, the King of Versailles, which, by the way, has not existed since 1780 when the French Revolution happened.
Okay, so this is the last line for Madagascar. Escape to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Skipper the penguin marries a bobblehead doll from the plane, and he, the other penguins, and the chimpanzees head off to honeymoon in Monte Carlo.
Oh.
But
That's
there was like a 4-year time difference between these films being released. So.
How silly of me.
Well, because I had seen Madagascar 2 a lot as a kid, and I remember not liking that one as much. I think it does have like the exact same plot as The Lion King, and it has that one I don't think I like as much, at least thinking back on it, just because it does have Moto, but it does have a very like, oh, Alex is lying about who he is. Oh, and then they're gonna find out that he's not actually that, which is kind of what this movie does. But I think this one does it a little, I don't know, the other one takes itself a lot more seriously from what I remember. But it is also weird because the last one kind of ends with like he finds his parents in Africa, and it's like, oh, it's, from my memory, it's like, all right, I guess we're gonna stay here, we're happy here. And I don't think they mention about like coming back to take them to New York.
Yeah, the whole series just kind of doesn't make any sense why they want to go back to the zoo to be in captivity.
Yeah.
When like they're all, from Africa. And then they get there, they're like, ugh, let's go back.
But they were raised in captivity.
Yeah.
I feel
they learned to love their cages.
Yeah, and then like, well, we'll get to that. But that was what was really confusing to me too, because I was like, I felt like the whole moral of the first two movies was like, oh, we were good to get in touch with our wild side. And then at the beginning of this, he's like, I gotta get back to New York. Like, and then he's,
my fans need me.
Yeah, and he spends the whole movie, and also they're all on board with it. They're like, yeah, we'll get the plane and we'll go back to New York. Even though I feel like it was the zebra, what's the zebra's name? Marty? I feel like it was his,
Marty.
Yeah, I feel like it was his whole plan to leave New York.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
That was why they all escaped.
And
to get him.
Also, this is a series called Madagascar, and they really spend very little time in Madagascar.
Yeah.
But there was that nice full circle moment at the end where they sent all the bad guys to Madagascar. But yeah, so I guess should we like lay out the plot of this film?
I think we can in very simple terms.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy thing.
Yeah.
Penguins, evil, but funny. Animals want to go to New York.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's a jungle out there.
We pick up with the gang. We got Alex the lion. We got Marty the zebra. We got Gloria the hippo. And we got Melman the giraffe. All your favorites. I know you didn't need me to tell you. Such iconic characters.
We got that guy who got slapped at the Oscars.
Yeah.
We got
Ben
Stiller.
It's Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith in this movie.
Whenever I realized that, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
And
this goes back so further.
We had
so
Will
it
Smith
does
2
age
weeks ago.
terribly in that aspect. So And then we got Ross from Friends, and we got Zoolander.
Yeah.
Together finally.
And then as Chantal Dubois, the animal control, we have Frances McDormand of Blood Simple and every other Coen Brothers movie. I feel like there were more weird. Jessica Chastain played the
Jessica
cheetah.
Chastain was the French cheetah, and then Bryan Cranston was the French lion.
Tiger.
Yeah.
Or tiger.
He's a tiger,
Yeah.
And then Martin Short is the walrus.
Yeah, or the Italian. I love that they have everyone doing crazy accents.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston's Russian.
Some were better than others.
Yeah.
I was convinced. I didn't know she was supposed to be French, but because I kept thinking it was like Penelope Cruz or something as the cheetah, or like Salma Hayek, and then it was just some white lady.
I love Jessica Chastain, but that was not her best accent.
Yeah.
It was.
But so they're in Africa. Picked up right where the last movie left off, which it both picks up where the last movie left off and feels very detached from where they end up emotionally. But anyway, they gotta go to Monte Carlo because that's where the beloved penguins are, pulling their gambling grift. Make a big scene. They try to escape.
With the lemurs and the chimpanzees as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got Sacha Baron Cohen back as King Julian.
And he's hornier than ever.
Oh my god, so horny.
Everyone in this movie is horny one way or another. Like,
Thank God they are.
Mort.
Marty and Gloria, I don't remember them having that much chemistry.
Yeah. I kind of forgot
Or
they
was
were
it-
an item.
I think they get together in the second one.
Marty
That's
and
like the big
Gloria,
thing.
or was it Melman and Gloria?
Melman and Gloria.
Not Marty.
Marty and
Because
Noah.
in the yeah, Marty doesn't have a love interest, but then in this one, Alex falls for Jessica Chastain.
Yeah. Gia.
And then, Julian is horny for this big bear. The French lady's horny for killing animals.
King Julian's in love with Sonia
The bear. She's my favorite
who
character.
doesn't talk, by the way.
Yeah.
She does, I guess she's not voiced by anyone.
She's so funny. I love the bear.
They go to Monte Carlo. They cause a big scene. They have their big elaborate getaway on a plane that's pirated by chimp slave labor. And then the plane breaks out. Oh. We have a guest appearance.
Number one
Oh my
fan
God.
of the pod, Justin
Number
Singer.
one fan. He just told us we're number one.
Yeah. He doesn't want to say anything.
Did you just get shushed?
Oh,
Get
oh
outta
my
here.
God.
You'll
Silly
hear it
guy.
later, bud. I'll hear my Oh. Anyway.
But they escape. They're being chased by Capitaine Dubois, who's hunting them. They crash in France, and their only way to escape is to hitch onto a circus train, and they lie that they're circus animals, and then they realize the circus is going to be going, or has the chance to be going to New York, so they buy the circus with the winnings from Monte Carlo, but then the circus isn't very good.
Classic blunder. It should be called We Bought a Circus.
I was thinking that exact thing when I was watching it today.
But yeah, I like the idea. Like, I feel like this movie also kind of, another reason it made me have like that nostalgic feeling was I feel like there's not really movies anymore where it's like talking animals in the real world having to pretend that they're not smart kind of thing. Like, you know, the part like where they're in Monte Carlo and they're like, we can't just run out because they'll be like, what the hell, animals in the casino. And I feel like now movies with animals in them are like Sing or like Zootopia, where it's
The bad
a whole
guys.
society of animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really make movies anymore where it's like the animals can talk to each other, but they can't talk to humans kind of thing. Which is big in our childhoods.
Yeah. Do y'all remember the movie The Wild?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a Disney it was like an Ant's Bug's Life situation, but it was
Yeah.
Disney's like version of Madagascar, where it's like a lion, a giraffe, a koala bear and a snake, I think, but they like the lion's son like gets accidentally trapped in a crate and is being taken to Africa, so they have to go save him, and it's like basically the same as Madagascar.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
It's just like Snow White and the Huntsman and Mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds like one of those like 7-Eleven fake movies of big blockbuster movies.
Yeah. Ratatouille.
Like Ratatouille, yeah.
A Car's Life. Chop Kick Panda.
Are these real ones? This is so funny.
Yes.
I love Ratatouille. There was a bee movie one too, but I forgot.
Wasp.
I forgot what it was called. I think it was called like A Bee's Life or something.
Yeah.
Wasp movie.
There was an Up one that was called
Down.
What's Up? I called it Down.
Yeah, so they pretend like they're from the American circus, basically, and that they practice trapeze americano, and that's like their big thing. And hijinks ensue.
Hijinks really ensue.
Because it's not real.
Yeah.
And they have to make up this like whole fake Cirque du Soleil kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also kind of funny that like they're just going into another form of captivity essentially.
Yeah.
And like none of them seem to realize it. They're just like, we're so free in the circus.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're still, in captivity by the circus owners.
Well, Jacob, you mentioned, like, this is a movie where it's like, oh, we can't let them know we're animals. We can't talk to them. But I feel like they kind of give up with that, like, partway through the movie. Because, like, for one, they just kind of own this circus.
Yeah.
And then I guess they have the chimps kind of staying as the king of Versailles. But then there's a part near the end where, like, Alex is having his final showdown with Dubois, and he says, like, your reign of terror is over, Dubois, like, directly to her face.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's so
would
weird.
that just be him, like, roaring at her?
I guess so. I always wonder about that. Like, if it shows her point of view and it's just like...
Which he also has, like, a jetpack on, right there.
He speaks engineer to her.
Madame Dubois could speak animal.
Talk engineer to me.
But what do y'all think of the new circus characters?
I like them for the most part. I think the sea lion is... what is his name? I can't remember. But Martin Short, Italian sea lion, I think is the kind of... I don't know. I think it probably is just me being like a grumpy 22-year-old rather than a maybe 9-year-old watching this, because sometimes there would be characters and jokes that I was like, here we go, he's like the I do stupid thing, I am silly. But I'm like, it's probably not really for me to laugh at. But so he was fine.
That's also like kind of Julian's thing already.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah,
so
I
it does
guess.
get a little bit.
Yeah, which I feel like
They kind of sideline King Julian in this one.
Yeah.
His kind of one bit is he's dating Sonia the bear, which honestly I'm fine with.
yeah.
I love the Sonia the bear stuff.
I thought that was so funny. Yeah, so Sonia is an amazing addition to the team. I'm fine with Gia, and I like Vitali because I feel like he's almost... Him and Alex are almost the two sides of the same coin. They're both these mighty jungle cats that have fallen from greatness.
Like Vitali's the alpha male, and Alex is the sigma male.
True, yeah. They're like oh, we're at each other's throats, but really they have something to learn from each other. And I did think it was weird how they kind of, when you first meet Vitali, and then in like every other scene, he's throwing knives. So it makes you think that's his bit, is he like throws knives. That's a circus thing. But then his actual talent is that he jumps through tiny rings.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, this movie kind of goes in like full fantasy at times. Like just fully breaks laws of
sure.
physics. Like,
Good, do it.
Yeah.
Have him jump through a hole that wouldn't fit a finger in it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think we were overdue for a sexy tiger lady
Yeah.
character. Or cheetah lady.
Yeah.
I'm getting all my cats confused right now.
Yeah. Hey, that was
But-
someone's sexual awakening.
Was she too hot, do y'all think?
I literally
I mean, I didn't notice.
Or
I literally wrote
Jacob?
Me
I
either.
wrote in my notes I wrote bet the furries love this one.
Hey, y'all can have what's her name, Gia?
Gia.
Yeah,
Well,
we already had
okay.
Gloria. Well, that's all I need.
Yeah. But I feel like
it's like how they make a lot of, animal cartoon characters way too hot. Like Judy from Zootopia.
She's
Lola
just
Bunny.
a rabbit,
well, Lola Bunny
She's
though.
thick as hell.
just like a rabbit.
Yeah. Lola Bunny though.
I've never seen a rabbit that.
Yeah, Lola Bunny.
They knew what they were doing.
Someone should be investigated there.
Yeah.
I still love when they made the new Space Jam movie and they redesigned the character for Lola Bunny and made her less curvaceous and less hot, and people were so fucking mad. They were like, "This is woke PC cancel
How
culture."
dare you?
I need
Not
my
my
hot rabbit.
Lola.
What is it with cartoon rabbits and being hot? Like Judy,
Hollywood
Lola,
just has a thing.
Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, what's the deal with?
What's the deal with rabbits? Rabbits being so hot.
I just take a tiny sip of my water, play with my mic. Hey guys, you doing good tonight? I got a question for you.
Why are they making these rabbits so hot?
I'm like,
Why do they want me to have sex with a rabbit?
and I'm like, if being horny at cartoon rabbits is wrong, lock me up.
Imagine this being played in a courtroom.
Your
All right, boys, we got him. Take him in.
Your Honor, I was joking at the time. Oh boy.
Okay. Speaking of the circus, what do y'all think of the musical numbers in this one?
Like,
Let me
got-
say, Katy Perry's Firework has never been better.
No, that was
one
the
was
best,
good.
and I fully forgot that song was in this
Yeah.
movie.
I remember seeing this as a kid, and Firework had been played out by this point. And I remember seeing this, and I was like, why am I about to cry right now?
yeah.
I was like, this is beautiful.
It was kind of like The Greatest Showman, where when they do circus
I was
shit,
thinking
it kind
that.
of goes into like a more artistic portrayal of that, rather than actually just showing them do like trapeze shit, which I would have been fine with. I love the circus.
With that, we've also got to talk about the Afro Circus. Poke it up, poke it up, poke it up.
Afro, poke it up, poke it up, poke it up, Afro.
So, was that a big part of y'all's childhood? Because I remember, I remember at my school. So, if we were 12, that's probably is that 5th grade,
Yeah, I think
6th
fifth.
grade?
Around then, yeah.
I feel like it was probably more 5th grade than 6th. But that was so huge at my school. Everyone would just sing Afro Circus
Yeah.
all the time.
I remember they bombarded every ad had Circus Afro in it.
Yeah.
My letterbox review after watching this movie was I cannot imagine how crazy the kids that were in the focus group test watching this movie for the ad agency when the fucking Circus Afro came up. I imagine it was fucking crazy in there. It was like a screening
was
of
a riot.
RRR. Yeah. Well, because it feels so, because they own I remember the ads that was in everything, the copy that we rented from the library. It was just Marty with the afro, but then it only appears once, or he sings the song once, but then at the end then everyone's wearing the crazy afro, and then they have the giant Circus Afro number, and that feels
Yeah.
like something that was tacked on in the end.
Yeah, I had a similar experience because I remember it being all throughout the movie. Then I was like, oh, it was kind of just this one little one-off thing. But then they must have realized that it was a hit. with the youths.
If they made a Madagascar 4, it would be called Madagascar 4 Circus Afro.
It was there. I like to move it.
Yeah. I remember that was nut. That
Yeah.
was crazy when that
Was
came
that
out.
one or two?
That's the first
That was
one.
one.
And I think it comes
But
back
then
And then the
into
second
It shows
one-
back up into, yeah.
But the second one had like the how does it go? It's like something about
'em
big body.
I like 'em chunky.
Whatever they were doing to like make little jingles for each
Yeah.
song, it was like the perfect
Yeah.
formula.
It was like
because-
crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yo, Mr. White, we got this great Circus Afro song. The kids are gonna love it.
he can't keep getting away with it.
They play Jesse and Walt play I like 'em big for Tuco, and he's like yeah, this is good shit. You make this for me.
I like Tuco as like the head of DreamWorks. Sitting there like, yeah, give me some more of this shit.
More Afro Circus.
More Afro. We need more Afro Circus in this movie. The kids just went nuts, man.
I wonder if Noah Baumbach attended any like Kids' Choice Awards or anything.
Oh my god.
Did he ever get slimed?
Yeah. Oh my god. no.
Nickelodeon Awards.
But yeah, jumping back to the Katy Perry firework circus number, I don't know if that was like the concept artist just going off or the directors just really having a vision, but just like y'all mentioned it, like the visuals in that scene are so good. Like I love
They're amazing.
I love the part when Alex and GR they're like falling through a bunch of like colorful rings in it, but then the camera turns, so then they're rising. It was like my heart fluttered, and I didn't really care about their romance, but I was like, this is peak cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a good example of 3D filmmaking.
Yeah, I do remember that seeing it in 3D, like, because I feel like usually when I'd see something in 3D, like, it would be pretty unremarkable, but I remember that scene was genuinely impressive.
Yeah.
You were like, holy shit, Afro Circus is coming to me.
Oh my god, the Afro's coming right at me.
It's coming to a theater near me.
Something that they did in this movie that I really liked was that I feel like there were about 6 distinct shots where one of the animals' faces was just taking up the whole screen, like as they fell from
Yeah.
the sky, and
Yeah.
That's the
I really
best.
liked it. Like just anytime, like it was like there were 2 like back to back when Alex the lion has to make up trapeze americano really quick because he inspires all the animals to get back into the circus and do a good circus instead of a poopy circus like they've been doing. So he has to yeah,
That's a direct quote.
yeah. And so he
He said like, ours is a stinky poopy circus.
so he teaches Gia how to do trapeze, but he makes it up on the spot. And there's a part where he just falls face first into the net, and his eyes like pop out. And then she does the same thing, but the camera's like under the net, so there's just like back-to-back shots of these creatures with their eyes like.
I feel like they do that a lot with Melman too, of like his
Yeah.
head flailing out of the screen.
Yeah. I had a question about a line Gia says. I wrote it. I felt compelled to write it down so I could bring it up because there's a part where it's when he's training her to do the trapeze, and he says something like, I think he says like, "Oh, I can't train you. You have to start when you're 5." And she goes, "I am 5." And I was like, "What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?"
I was like, yeah, I don't know, you know, the science behind like cats' ages, but I also thought that was a very bizarre line.
That is a joke.
Like, how old is Alex supposed to be? Like, how old do like cheetahs and lions?
Well, I don't think cheetahs and
Live
lions
to-
ever like, you know, like have romantic feelings for each other.
They did in this movie.
They did.
I
in
saw
the- oh
it.
yeah, you're right. How can I argue with that?
Okay.
Also, I did just look up. Lions have a lifespan of about 12 to 16 years, and cheetahs have a lifespan of about 12 years.
Oh.
Do we know how old Alex is.
Look up
40.
When does a lion reach adulthood? 2.
Probably like a year
we have-
or 2, yeah.
Do we have to cancel
Alex
Alex?
is
Is my-
Well, I mean, it's not very strange to think about because I just looked it up. Noah Baumbach is 14 years older than Greta Gerwig.
that is
And
true.
they have a kid.
It just feels so wrong to hear the line "I am 5" from the sexy tiger lady.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. They
have-
don't kiss. They're just good friends.
She's
by
a
the
cheetah.
End.
I have tiger written down because I was like very absentmindedly writing things, and now I just keep seeing tiger. when I say that, I mean cheetah.
It's that's how Alex and Gia meet. He's like, this is so stupid. I was gonna be like, he's like, you smell like 5. I am 5. Machine Gun Kelly.
We need to watch Machine Gun Kelly's new movie because I've seen a lot
my
of
God.
YouTube commentary
He's
about
in-
it.
he has
and
a new
it's
movie?
It's just awful.
Oh my
Yeah.
I've heard tale that he's making a new movie. Speaking of tale,
There's okay.
That's what Alex the Lion gets from his 5-year-old girlfriend.
We're just gonna assume that they are age appropriate
Yes,
together.
yes. They're animals.
But
It's
okay,
it's already unnatural that a lion no,
Yeah.
it's already unnatural that a hippo and a giraffe are apparently having sex in this universe.
that's like in Shrek, like Donkey
And the
and
dragon.
the
yeah,
dragon.
that's true.
This was a big year for
A big decade.
interspecies relationships. Yeah.
Man, we used
okay,
to be a
let's
proper
talk about
country.
the other relationships.
Donkeys used to be able to just fuck dragons whenever they wanted.
Yeah, let's talk Madagascar.
What do we think about Melman and Gloria's relationship? It's not very I don't know. I don't really remember the lore with their relationship, but they kind of just jump in right to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy in this one that there's not like a breakup in it. Because I think the last one is that's why like Moto like is the big thing. Like the I like him big, I like him sexy is because that makes Melman jealous and all that stuff. But I'm glad because I was laughing. I was like, this one does feel very streamlined in terms of all of its characters. Because like, or they kind of were just kind of picking and choosing. Like, okay, Melman and Gloria, their big conflict is Melman doesn't know how to dance, and it's solved in like 10 minutes. Besides that, they don't really have much other like real big conflict. But I don't know. I think they're cute together. I like them dancing together.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that giraffe fucks the hippo.
No, she fucks him.
Oh.
No, yeah, she's definitely the top dog in that
She's the top.
relationship. Yeah.
Top dog. But yeah, that's a good point. I do like how the central message of this one is just friendship. Like, and the romantic relationships are kind of just secondary,
Yeah.
which is nice for a kids movie.
Yeah.
Except King Julian and Sonia, they have to be together.
They have to be. I feel like this couple of years, like Sacha Baron Cohen was just kind of making every character he did Borat.
Yeah.
So like King Julian is pretty much just Borat.
Yeah. Which is
in
funny.
this, and he's like I like your hairy back or whatever.
Which I think is funny because I think the first Madagascar came out before Borat.
Really?
So that's funny. Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I think it was like a year or before. From
he just
my memory.
went Borat mode for
Was
this
that his
one.
first movie, Madagascar?
No, he was in stuff. He
can't be.
had done like Ali G and like the TV stuff before,
Oh.
which kind of fed into Borat.
I see. Okay.
Oh, I have to ask, who's y'all's favorite penguin?
Oh.
Everyone's got one.
That's a good question.
What are their names again? There's
We
Rico.
we got Rico, Kowalski, Skipper, and Private.
I think my favorite is Skipper because I like funny dialogue and he's always rattling them off. He had a couple like lines that actually made me laugh out loud in this. I wish I had wrote them down because now I can't remember.
Yeah. I think I'd also go Skipper, but I did write one of his lines down there, like, because he says he spent the rest of their money on gold teeth.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, now I can finally eat apples. The problem is I don't like apples.
That was a good one.
That was a real Barbosa moment.
I would go. I'd go Skipper and Rico.
Yeah.
Rico's great.
There's a really.
I did. Yeah.
I was just gonna say there's a really good visual gag that happens in like 0.5 seconds where Rico coughs up a match, Kowalski strikes it on Private's butt, and then there's just a shot of Private's face in the camera like, oh! And it goes to
They do that like twice.
I know, they do it right after it again.
Yeah, I was noticing though that because like since there's so many characters and it's moving very fast, like Private doesn't have a line until an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
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 Like they definitely had to pick focus on these.
Yeah. It's definitely the end game of the Madagascar of the MCU.
I kind of feel like the penguins aren't as distinct in this one.
Yeah. This one
So maybe that's why they did Penguins of Madagascar a few years later, which I actually didn't see. I don't know if we're considering that as like
it's a
part of
spin-off.
the canon.
It's
but...
definitely in the same universe.
It's in the MCU.
Yeah, exactly.
As we established. I did not see the Penguins of Madagascar movie, but I imagine there was probably like, okay, we don't need to put as much on the penguins in this one since that one was probably like already like being worked on because it came out 2 years later, I want to say. Yeah, 2014, I think.
Yeah.
Did they make 2 of those?
No, just one. It didn't do great, I remember.
Yeah. Was there a TV series too?
There was.
Or...
There was that too. I remember watching that. I remember being okay.
Yeah.
That one was
I loved the penguins, but they tried really hard to
they were like
to make them work.
I feel like in like every bad animated movie, they have to have like little sidekicks, little animal sidekicks that are either the ripoffs of the penguins or minions. As they either have like ones that like can do everything and are like ninjas, or ones that are just like dumb, don't speak English. Banana.
The other day I went to an AMC theater. Big mistake. And all the Coke Freestyle machines, they didn't have any flavors. There were like 5 of them. There were 4 icy machines and they were all broken.
Oh my
only
God.
flavors were wild cherry and Minion banana flavor.
Minion banana. Drink up.
I was too embarrassed to order a Minion banana flavor.
I got breakfast at Cracker Barrel today, and the
What a country boy.
And
What
the
a conservative man.
What an 80-year-old man.
that's why I'm wearing my red hat. We're gonna make this podcast great again. Which implies that there was a point when it wasn't, which y'all at home know is not true. There's a gift shop in Cracker Barrel, which is interesting. I feel like it's the only restaurant with a gift shop besides Margaritaville. And the House
or
of
Rainforest
Their
Cafe.
gift shop,
yeah, House of Blues.
that gift shop is terrifying.
It's so weird. It's such an amalgam of things. Like there were like garden gnomes, and then there was like stuff with horses, and then stuff with like the American flag on it, and then like just random toys. But my favorite thing I saw was like a tube of like Skittles, and then on top of it, the lid of it was a minion driving a biplane. And I was like, why is this at Cracker Barrel?
For the kids.
Yeah.
Come
for
on.
the red-blooded American kids.
Come on, Sonny. You ate dinner with me. You deserve a Skittle.
For all the badass kids at Cracker
feel-
Barrel.
The gift shop, I've only been to Cracker Barrel like once or twice, and honestly, their breakfast is pretty
It kind
good.
of slapped.
I will say
have
that.
to say.
But the gift shop is all just like, in this house we pray, and we say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're not politically correct. And if you don't like it, then get the fuck out. Whatever. And I'm like,
there was one today that said, heroes don't wear capes, they wear dog tags.
Oh my god.
And I was like, dogs?
We're really going to lose out on our Cracker Barrel or Little Scruff sponsorship.
Oh, man.
Use code feature flashback for 10% off your next
10%
Cracker
off
Barrel
at the gift shop.
Only at the gift shop, not the restaurant.
You pay full price.
Only for... like a true-blooded American.
You give those pancakes every dollar they're worth.
Wait.
Were we talking about a movie?
I don't know.
Madagascar.
Something about an animal, I think. I just was looking through my notes, and there was one gag I really liked about there's like the American promoter they're trying to impress, and when they show him, he's dressed like Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, with like the big white cowboy hat, and he has an American eagle or a bald eagle just on his arm. Good bit. 2 thumbs up for me.
It almost feels like a bit that would be in a movie that was like not made by Americans. They'd be like, "Oh, this is what an American looks like," but it's like it's DreamWorks. Like they just did that because they could.
Yeah, it's also funny because like these animals are like they're identifying as Americans, you know, and New Yorkers. So
there's a joke at the beginning when they tell Alex to drive, and he's like, "I can't drive. I'm a New Yorker."
Yeah.
Ben Stiller improvised that.
Definitely.
Line.
I love New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
As Alicia Keys once said.
Concrete jungle.
So when does stuff start going awry?
So I think it's right after the big show where they get the American contract. Dubois shows up, and she has the file, or like the printed out paper that says like lion missing, famed New York lion still missing, which is weird because I don't know, in my memory from the first one, they ship all the animals back to Madagascar and then they fall off the ship, and it's like, well, I mean, you were already shipping them away, like where do you think you're gonna find them? But they realize that they lied about being in the circus. Okay. Then they find their way back to America, and then they go back to the zoo. They get caught, and then they realize that the zoo isn't what they built it up as, and they had it better in the circus.
Melman and Gloria realized there used to be a wall between them and their cages, so they couldn't see each other's beautiful faces.
Yeah, I did like. I think it's a nice message of like. Or even just, like, simple screw rape. Just like, they achieved their want, but their need is something else. And also just, like, you know, you return to where you're from and you realize you've grown past it.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Like when Frodo comes back to the Shire.
Yeah.
much the same way.
Like that.
But yeah, I think that's, like, my favorite moment in the movie. When they're all just collectively like, okay, let's go back to the circus, because that was a lot more fun. But then...
the circus comes to them.
Well, not quite yet. Then, Miss... what's her name?
Madame Dubois. Capitale.
Madame Dubois comes.
Real emphasis there.
I don't know. Y'all, it's late.
It is late.
It's almost my bedtime.
We can wrap this baby up.
No, it's all good. So she arrives at the scene, and she tranquilizes him, right? Or is the chase scene first?
They tranquilize all of them. They wake up in their cages, and it's all like barbed wire, or in high fences now, so that way they don't get out again. Yeah,
they're in like maximum security at the zoo.
Yeah.
And the zoo owners are like very excited to have them back, and then it also happens that like whenever they find the animals, Madame Dubois is just sitting there or standing there outside. So then she becomes the hero who returned all these animals.
but she's still
Simba.
gonna kill Alex because she wants that lion head for her
The
wall.
lion head.
The lion. But then the people from the circus, they realize that, and they fly in and save them on a... I was wondering what the hell that contraption is. How do they just make the circus fly? Or is that just a Monty Python reference?
I actually did think maybe it was just a Monty Python reference. Like, I think, like, it's one of those things that they are just like, whatever, fuck it. The penguins made a flying circus. They're like...
The suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, sometimes this movie is just fully into, like, fantasy mode, which I don't mind. Like, I like, because also, even though, like, the animals can't talk to the humans, there's still a part where Dubois is chasing a, like, Leonardo da Vinci flying machine that's made of, like, sheet metal and bamboo, and is just and piloted by animals, and she's like, that's fine.
Yeah. She's like, I will get you, lion. But yeah, they save the day. They leave with the circus. Happy ending. Circus Afro. Everyone dances in a Circus Afro.
Afro circus.
And then I think, Jacob, you mentioned we get a little throwback to the first movie where we see Madame Dubois and all of her men in the same boxes as the first movie, all being shipped to Madagascar. And there's a joke written on the side of the boxes that you see in the wide shot. Did you see? It said freedom fries written on the outside.
I didn't see that.
But I guess it's a joke that they're French.
Oh.
Oh.
USA. USA.
This is nationalist propaganda.
They showed the American promoter.
It's odd how the movies are called Madagascar, but Madagascar is, like, apparently a place no one wants to go to.
No one lives at it. I think in the first one they go and it's just lemurs.
Yeah, who like to move it.
They do like to move it.
There's some villain in the first one. It's like dingoes or something. They're like,
yeah, something like that.
They're not dingoes, but they're the Madagascar equivalent.
Just eating the babies.
Alex be like, rightio, what's all this? you've munched my baby, haven't you?
Oh my god.
That's a good Australian accent.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
Alright. Do you have any other thoughts? Should we wrap up on this? We've been recording for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time. I'm sorry
No,
that
perfect.
you have to edit this.
No, yeah,
I cannot wait.
I had a lot to say about Prometheus, for which I apologize.
Jacob, final thoughts.
I
on
think
Madagascar,
this
Europe's
movie,
Most Wanted.
I watched this with my roommate and we had a great time. I think it was very enjoyable. It definitely had some, like, I thought it had some, like, pacing issues where, like, the beginning felt very fast and then it kind of found its footing.
Yeah.
But I thought that some of the jokes held up. The animation is my favorite thing was the animation. Like, I feel like all of the action scenes and chases were, like, really fun to watch. Everything flowed really well. You know, I think it's a fun, if you're looking for some fun out of the sun this summer, why don't you see if you can find a showing of Madagascar 3? What did you guys think?
Go ahead, Sydney.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with Jacob's comment about the pacing. I also found that myself. But yeah, I actually, even though I, gave it some shit about the divorced guy energy, and I had to shit on Noah Baumbach for a little bit, this is still a really good movie. Like, and I think you can make an argument that the cynicism is actually good for a kids movie, because it's like, you don't always have to dumb down everything for kids, and you can have some hidden jokes in there that they'll come back to when they're 22 and laugh at. So I would give Madagascar 3.
Europe's Most Wanted.
What's the subtitle?
Europe's Most Wanted.
Europe's Most Wanted. Okay. I would give it a 4 out of 5 letterboxd
I would give
score.
it...
Oh, wow.
I feel like I score, kids animated movies on a different scale, just because it's like, it's
I would give it
it's just a
3
fun
out of
movie.
3.5 cheetah years out of 5.
I think I'd get.
Yeah, I think the only thing that maybe doesn't age well is I Am 5, but we'll give.
5. Yeah, I'd probably give it also a 3.5 out of 5. Which I feel like I've made it sound like this is my favorite movie ever, but I did have a great time watching this. I think this is a fun movie. Maybe there is some cynicism in it, and that appeals to to a 22-year-old old boy watching this.
To a nice guy.
To a nice guy like me. Only nice guys like me watch Madagascar.
Seriously though, when I got up out of bed, to watch Madagascar 3 and my feet hit the floor, the devil said, "He's up."
I thought you were gonna say you like to move it. The devil said he likes to move it. But yeah.
What if you went to heaven and God said, "I'd like to move
And
it"?
God said, "Afro Circus."
And then the devil comes up and says,
For some reason, I was imagining. Now I'm gonna put this evil on you, but I was imagining James Corden in a skin tight polka dot suit singing that.
Oh. They definitely would have done
Just
that
in the middle of an
if
LA
he was
intersection.
around.
Yeah, if this movie had come out in 2020, he definitely would have been in it.
Yeah.
Because he was in two very disturbing. He was very disturbing in Cats and in that god awful Cinderella.
Yeah.
Oh
Movie
yeah,
with Camila
I still need to
Cabello.
watch that. I feel like I would really like that. The Cinderella movie.
Which one, Cats or Cinderella? It's amazing how bad it is.
Oh my god.
But yeah, James Corden he plays a mouse with a human face, and then he gets turned into
I
a
love
human,
that.
and it's James Corden.
I hate that. Y'all know the thing people say online of who did James Corden what Hollywood executive did he see run over someone with their car and has dirt
He
on them?
definitely. Him and Chris Pratt have a chokehold.
They're actually,
on
I am
Hollywood.
famous now. In fact,
Yeah. I feel like Chris Pratt at least he was in a TV show and then was in some small movies and then was in the big movies. James Corden just showed up one day.
I think.
Yeah, and had a show.
And said, "Hello, I'm James Corden. We're singing in the car."
Okay, but would you rather have James Corden or Chris
Ooh.
Pratt play Mario?
Yeah,
Chris
I just don't. I can't
I'll
see James
say.
Corden doing the voice.
I can't see James Corden.
Yeah.
James Corden be, "Hello, I'm Mario. We're singing. We're singing in the Mushroom Kingdom."
Toad.
Who would he play? Who's...
You'd be like,
No, don't put that on Toad.
James Corden would. A worse world, he'd play
Oh.
Bowser. I feel
That's
like.
exactly what I was thinking.
well,
Um,
gang, we've had a good
we
run.
did it. We did it. Wait, this was a journey. This was a trip.
Yeah.
I think this might be the longest. I don't know if y'all edit y'all's episodes a lot, but this appears to be the longest one.
Currently, it is.
Oops.
This will probably end up being the longest episode. I'll trim it. There's some. I feel like there's some bits, especially there may be. Will I have to cut some out of the Ridley dildo? Who knows?
The saga.
No, that's staying in.
I think you should keep it, but make sure to take out the part about that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. That guy's coming out. It'll be really funny when people hear this and won't know that part.
Yeah.
Sydney, thank you so much for coming on. You were an amazing guest. We're definitely gonna have to have you back on. The crowd is going nuts for you. Hope you had a fun
Thank
time
y'all.
with our absurdity.
Yes, thank y'all so much for having me on. It was seriously a blast. I can't believe we just talked about these two movies for 3 hours.
It flies by.
Pretty much the runtime of both of these movies
Exactly.
combined is how long we talked about it.
That's how we do. We have to get to the bottom of these things.
Yeah. We gotta crack the code.
We're like Alan Turing.
All right.
I feel like we made some revelations.
Yeah. We're like prospectors. We're digging.
Yeah.
We're digging for gold.
Sifting through all that dirt.
We're engineers,
Yes,
if you will.
in
Yeah.
fact.
But Sydney, thank you again for coming on. Where can the good people find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at DriveToSids. I'm currently private because, working in corporate America, I don't want them to find my Twitter. But also on Instagram for the public at Sid Underwood. So yeah, those are the big places. Or you can find me posting online sometimes for a company called Comedy Central.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Really?
But yeah.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
That's my corporate America.
Let's get another round of applause.
Whoa.
That's my. I love like looking at the Facebook page and there's like a Pride logo. There's like the Comedy
It's the
Central
month.
Pride logo.
It's the month.
It's my month. But yeah, thank y'all so much for having me on. It was truly a blast, and I cannot wait to come back.
Anytime.
Yes, we're definitely gonna have to have you back.
Yeah.
Anytime. You want to stay on for That's My Boy? Oh.
You know what? Something just
I
came
have
up.
something going
Good
on,
answer. All right, Jacob. Where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jacob Sanger. I am not private, though I probably should be if I want to try to find an actual job, because I do be tweeting anything that I think about. And then I'm on Instagram at Commander in Beef with underscores in between the words, and on Letterboxd also just at Jacob Sanger. If you want to see me give these movies rankings.
Ooh, let me plug my letterbox too. It's just at Sid Ellis. Let me go follow you on.
I know. I was
Letterboxd,
like,
Jacob.
damn, I don't think I follow you.
Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter at C Spalton and on Letterboxd at CJS Films. And I'll also be adding Sydney on Letterboxd. So you all should too.
Hell yeah. The feature flashback family is getting bigger.
But that'll do it for this massive episode. Special thanks to Sheldon Scholl for our lovely theme music.
Yes.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review, all those lovely things. And you can follow the show on Instagram at Feature Flashback and on Twitter at Feature Flashback.
Yes.
So next episode, I should say, is two lovely movies. Jacob already knows what they are. It's a little film we've been talking about called That's My Boy. Can you tell we've watched it already? It's a little film called That's My Boy and a little musical called Rock of Ages.
Mm-hmm. Which also has Bryan Cranston in it, Vitaly the Tiger.
Yeah. It does.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod.
But yeah, you stay tuned for that. It's a doozy.
Mm-hmm.
I would like
Jacob,
to
you wanna do
say,
the sign-off?
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. If you could share this with even one friend, it would be amazing. We really love doing the show. It's a lot of fun. I mean, Colin and I do it just for fun, basically. But if people actually listen to it and tell us they like it, it's really awesome. And a few people have come up and told me that they like listening, and they even told me they like that it's 2 hours long, and they put it on in the background. So yeah, tell your friends.
That's what we strive for.
Yeah. And I'd like to say my final words in the traditional engineer. Thank you.